Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kiper, Adam Muncy, Wes Crouch, and Darren Stevens, as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime.
From the corner to the corner, we bring the heat. High school pride, we're repping every street. Sean, Wes, Adam, Daron on the beat. Downtown Mount Sterling, where the fans all meet. From the corner to the corner, we bring the heat.
We got new microphone stands, and of course, right as the show starts, it falls over, and here I am fiddling with it as we come up, though. But welcome, everyone, to From Corner to Corner podcast. We're just going to call this episode 382. Because we're not going to have another one this week with the region tournaments, and we're going to try to make some of those games here in the 10th and wherever we can. But so episode 382, Sean is not here, so I am driving the ship today along with, who's this stranger here?
Well, I mean, Sean's not here, so it should be a pretty good show.
Absolutely. We have Darren Stevens on producing, and then we have a slew of people today to do our first ever, I forgot what the name
Region
is.
Roundup?
Region Roundup, or Sean's going to be mad at me.
Region Runaround?
Region Runaround. We're going to go over all the regions, just kind of give us an idea of who's in the regions and who we think are the favorites for those, and maybe if there's going to be any upsets, but we just kind of want to put a panel together of people that we have been able to get to come to us from kind of all around the state. Adam, first of all, we'll go right down here to my left. We'll start with Joseph Decker. Joseph, introduce yourself and kind of tell us kind of where you're from and maybe what regions you're kind of in tune with.
Yeah, Joseph Decker. I'm from the 3rd region. I'm from Grayson County, Kentucky. Had a beautiful 2-hour and 40-minute drive here. I'm glad to be here, man. You know, try to cover all the regions in the state. You know, being with Next Up, you know, you gotta evaluate all the top talent, so you gotta see everybody. So I try to make it out to every region. I would kind of say my forte is that 3rd and 4th region. You know, it's where I just grow up at, so you're always able to make it. Love the 5th region as well. So kind of that South Central Kentucky part of the state. That's where I like to cover and be the most.
Nice. Thank you. Beside him, we got local superstar 10th Region Hall of Famer Ivan Ralls. Ivan, welcome to the show again.
I'll give you that $5 later. Ivan Ralls, Gateway Sports Network, cover primarily the 10th region, but I do have the opportunity to get out and see some of the other local area teams in the 11th region to 16th region, and a little bit in the 9th and the 8th from the time. So, but nice. Primarily the 10th region, the boys and the girls.
Nice. Beside me, we've got Darryl McCoy. Welcome.
Thank you.
For the first time from D&D Sports Network.
I appreciate you guys having us. You know, we cover the coal fields and the mountains and 14th, 15th, 16th regions, and you know, has nothing to do with it, but over in West Virginia as well.
West Virginia always has something to do with it.
Oh well.
Down in
only to one person.
Adam's neck of the woods.
Yep.
Where he grew up.
Yep.
Right to the right of Adam, we've got Lovell Martin with Martin Media.
Don't remind me.
See,
Local Bears fan.
This is what happens when you walk in and you see a Packers helmet and you immediately say, I can't sit there. Anyway, Lovell Martin, Martin Media, Next Up Recruits, Kentucky Sports TV. I cover anywhere and everywhere, primarily the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th region. Is probably my biggest base, but you never know where you'll find me.
Gotcha. And then right to the right of them, we've got Troy and Clark Howell. Had been doing a podcast together for a long time, and pretty much cover the whole state within yourself.
That's right. We've been doing our KSR rankings for like 6 years, and then
we were the only two people doing it, so we got yelled at a lot, but now we added some people like Lovell and some others. So we have people from all around the state that vote now, so we kind of cover the whole state from a large-scale picture. Most active covering and watching the 10th and the 11th region, because I'm from here at Mount Sterling and I live in Lexington. We've probably been doing our informal rankings for like 20-some years, I'd say. Like 25 years.
We started doing our top 25s, just the two of us back in 2002, and have been putting it together ever since then. So, try to make myself as knowledgeable as possible over the whole state, but obviously, again, being from here in Mount Sterling, the 10th and 11th region are the two that I'm probably the most familiar with.
So as you can see, we just wanted to get as many people that would cover the state as possible in here, and we probably missed out on a few, but hey, we've got a pretty good panel, and we'll see how it grows going forward.
And Wes, for the first time ever, we've got more people than I've got width on the camera.
Yeah, this is true.
It is possible.
We got a new studio, so you can see everybody sitting at the desk. And we got more people than I can put on screen.
So I tell you what, we'll just kind of start. We'll do good rankings. We'll start from top and go to the bottoms, from the first to the second.
Okay.
We won't do fantasy football rankings like I've done and,
Gotcha.
and just spitball here and there.
So, for y'all that haven't watched the show for Wes, when he says he's going to give rankings, it could start at 7 and then go to 4 and then go to 13. There's no order to Wes's rankings system at all.
I have definitely done that before. So we'll just start in the first region.
And if Wes says your favorite team is coming into their own, pack it up. You're done.
Cancun's where they're going.
First region, on the boys' side, you got Marshall County, Fulton County, McCracken County, Mayfield, Carlisle County, Murray, Graves County, and Paducah-Tillman. I will turn to Troy and Clark because I'd say Joe probably knows a little bit about this, but I'll turn to you all and kind of let you all kind of go over that region, that boys' region, and fly with that.
Yeah, so I'll start. I think McCracken County is clearly the favorite in that region. They've been borderline top 10 team in the state most of the year. Coming into the year, it was probably a toss-up with them in Marshall County. Marshall County has Lange back. He's one of the top juniors in the state. So I think McCracken is your favorite, with Marshall probably kind of that next step. And really, once you get past that group, Tillman's record is not very good. I think they're starting to play a little bit better. And even Carlisle County might be able to make some noise in the bottom half of that bracket.
Yeah, it was a rough draw from McCracken and Marshall, probably the two best teams in the region. They'll probably meet in the semifinals. I think McCracken's a favorite because they almost always make it. It's hard to pick against them. Marshall would be the other team in there. And then it's a good first-round matchup in the bottom between Carlisle and Murray. Those teams are, I think, pretty even. So it should be a pretty good one there. And I think whoever wins that one would play the 16th. And it's closer to get to Canada from the 16th region than it is to the first region. So that's one of my favorite stats.
That just sounds insane.
McCracken County has been there in the Sweet 16. It seems like it's just a staple. So it does seem like they probably got a leg up there. All of that played, kind of like 16th region, all that played at Murray State University, which is probably pretty cool.
Pretty nice setup, I would say.
100%. So we will just move on here to the second region here. Second region boys, we've got Henderson County, Christian County, Hopkins County Central, Livingston Central, Lyon County, Union County, Hopkinsville, and Madisonville North Hopkins. And we'll just go back to you, Troy, and Clark, and let you
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I think this is really a two-team race. Lyon County and Henderson County are, both kind of borderline top 25 teams in the state, maybe even in the top 20, depending on how aggressive you are. They should, I think, be head and shoulders above anybody else in that region. I believe this is the last year that Hopkinsville and Christian County will be two separate teams. So some of the last games we'll ever see out of those schools independently of each other. But I don't see any chance of them really making a run past either Lyon or Henderson.
Yeah, those are the two teams I have, Henderson and Lyon. I was looking at them to slide into the top 25. Lyon was in there some earlier in the year, but I think Henderson's made a push in my ballot to be in the top 25. I think they have some wins over Lyon County. So I'm picking Henderson County, but I mean, really flip a coin between those two in the second region.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, Lyon County with Travis Perry, they won a state championship but never won an All-A title, and now that he's gone, they've been the runner-up last year and the championship of the champion of the All-A Classic this year. So, people probably thought they might disappear once Perry left, but they've been very strong the last 2 years.
Anybody else got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, agree with them. Lyon and Henderson kind of lead the way for me. I think everybody knows they'll meet up there. Henderson beat Lyon, I think, by 4 when they matched up. But Lyon obviously has some better wins than Henderson when you look at resumes, but Henderson does have the win over Lyon. I'd probably lean, me and Lovell talked about this last year when we did our show. It was these two again. I think we both picked Lyon. It ended up being Henderson. Coach Smithhart does an amazing job at Henderson. I want to give him some shout-outs. He doesn't have the ranked guys that Lyon has, but he has a really good group. I want to show some love to Amari Stewart. He's one of the better shooters in the state. He's a 2027 young kid, got a good chance. They added Idris White as one of their assistant coaches who was at Madisonville North Hopkins, so he's brung a lot of energy to that team. It'll come down to those two. I think everybody kind of gets that idea. I like what Lyon County has. They have Nolan Kaufman, who might be the most kind of dominant player in that region. He's a 20-10 guy a night, several Division I offers. I'd probably lean toward Lyon, and, I did that last year, and it kind of struck me, but I like the talent they got. The Collins brothers are good shooters. DeFew plays your 4, Kaufman's your 5. They can both get you 10 rebounds a night. And then Bray Kirk has been player of the region for us back-to-back years. So with his guard play, if he can settle down, slow the game down, play the 1, I don't see how Lyon loses that matchup again, but it's always like when Henderson plays Lyon, you get Henderson's best game. So it's a tough one to pick, but that's a region I'm excited for. I think it's a coin flip.
Have they played once or twice?
They've only played once this year.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and I think it was the day after Lyon County won the All-A Classic, so they played 2 games on that Sunday and then come back and play Henderson the next day. So that was a busy stretch for them.
Hard to judge it off that, but that's a coin flip, I'm telling you.
And they lost by 4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
County then.
Yeah, we're rolling with Coach Barry.
Did you have anybody to talk about in the field first? I should have come to you about the
good.
first.
I think Howell brothers nailed it on the head. I've been high on McCracken, and a big reason is you have this roster that brings back Aaron Adams, who had a huge summer. He's a 28. Then you have Jackson Clope. A lot of people wrote McCracken off, but Jackson Clope comes back. He tore his ACL. I think Brush has offered him. He's a really, really solid Kentucky high school basketball player. But in my opinion, the best player in the first last year outside of the Callaway guys and Langy was Miles Woodfork at Paducah Tillman. You bring him in. He's having an amazing year, by the way. I know a lot of people over here don't know him, but we gave him our first region player of the year. 24 points, I think 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He went up to the Lexington Catholic White Greer Maggard Classic and stole the show. He was great. So I love Matthew Lange, that first region. He's a phenomenal player. Got some big shoes to fill. His dad played at Vanderbilt, spent some time in the league. I want to give some love to Coach Colin Doss at Murray. Turned a team that I think won 6 games into a 19-9 record. He got that KABC Coach of the Year. But I think you guys mentioned it. Carlisle and Murray, first round is going to be great. I think Carlisle just beat him in the earlier matchup, but Carlisle has a kid named Wyatt Rickard that I highly demand you to kind of get attention to. He's a 27. He's a 6'9 shooter. He's going to be playing with Kentucky Basketball Club, our Pro 16 team. So if you can show some love to them this summer, that'll be huge. But he's a really good player. But I always liked the first region. It felt like it was Callaway's for the last 2-3 years, with Jonah Butler, Finley, the Armstrong brothers. But Paducah Tillman, I believe they got 2 players eligible in like the last month. So I think that's a way they're kind of getting a little hotter. But not much else to say to that.
Guy gives a 5-minute speech and then says, not much else I can say about that. Your brain needs study. I'm just sitting here amazed right now.
And you wonder why I said we love him over there.
There's no doubt.
He's really helped us a lot over at Next Up Recruits, man. We love that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was a region he said he didn't know much about. This is one that we're about to talk about. His bread
and butter. In fact, since we're going to move right into the third region, we got looking at Davies County, Breckenridge County, Grayson County, Muhlenberg County, Meade County, Trinity Whitesville, Ohio County and Apollo, and just by looking at it, I can tell this is a stacked region, just by the teams that are just put out here. So, being from the area, let us give us some info.
Well, if you like the 5-minute speech, I'll give you a 10-minute speech. I think we've seen with a lot of these region draws, it's like we got the two best teams at the top playing early, and a lot of people don't like it. People's talking about seeding, but I'm kind of like, hey, you got to play the best team to win it anyways. What's wrong with playing it a little earlier? Davis County's legit, man. They're great. Really talented. Jonathan Moss, Watkins. They bring in Ratcliffe and Randolph. Then you have Michael Acton come in from Owensboro. They're the favorite, even though Grayson beat them recently. It's going to be a toss-up for them. I want to show some love to Breckenridge. Coach LaGrange does a good job. They're physical. I don't know who the team over here is that you just go play at their house and it's like you don't get a foul call. But that's kind of them. You go play Breck, they're going to beat you up. It's a physical game. But Grayson County, I'm not going to try to be too biased. They got the win over Davis recently at Davis County. It was a big win led by Jack Loxton, WKU commit. They're talented, man. They're 5 deep. They bring in 2 awesome transfers, Jagger Martis and Caden Gaither, who got cleared, I think, December 16th. So they just keep getting better. You got 5 guys who can space the floor, shoot it, play make, do a little bit of everything. Meade County's talented, man. Hayden Schaus is a top 5 kid in the region. He's got a few Division I offers. He actually reclassed at 27, so he'll go post-grad. But they're coached by Travis Hackert, who coached, I believe, 4 seasons at UNC Wilmington. So he's a Division I guy. This is when he coaches his best basketball. They actually just beat Breckenridge, I think, by 20-plus in the district championship when a lot of people picked Breck. Whitesville Trinity, they're talented. You wouldn't usually hear about them. I don't know the last time they made the region. It's probably been 4 or 5 years. But they shoot it well. They're well coached. Nathan West, a great coach. Ohio County, I think they finished with a 21-5 record, something like that. Really good record. They're talented. They shoot the crap out of it. They're one of those teams that you don't want to play. They got a friendly draw, because they got a pretty friendly draw. It'll be fun for them. Apollo is kind of your 3rd best team off talent. You've got Carlos Cruz, who moved in from Puerto Rico, who's been really productive. Landon Henning is a 6'9" center who's a double-double a night, no doubt. And then Tate Powers is their point guard, who's a 1,000-point scorer. So Apollo has the talent to make a run. They do. Coach Tinsley's a good coach. If he gets them rolling, if you get by that Ohio game, you're pretty comfortable. You're in the region championship. But I think everybody's looking for that Saturday night matchup at 6 if we get to see Grayson and Davis. The first game, there's a lot of asterisks to it. A lot of people's like, well, they could have did this, they could have did that. Daron Watkins only had 4 points on 4 shots. He's your second guy. He's a possible D1 talent, so you want to see a little more out of him. But they match up well with each other. Grayson definitely has its advantages over Davis as well. I always say when it's postseason time, if you have a really, really, really good point guard, it's hard to lose. Jonathan Moss is very well debatably the best point guard in the state. So I'm interested to see how it goes. I know Grayson doesn't think that win's a fluke. I know a lot of people said they went in there and just got hot. Both teams didn't shoot it well. It was defensive heavy, but I'm going to roll with Grayson to make it out. I'm going to roll with the guys. I think Davis is super talented, but you kind of cancel some guys out, then you're leaving the 3 through 5 to kind of go out there and kill you. I think Grayson is better 3 through 5 than Davis. Caden Gaither, Jagger Martis had 5 points and they beat him. He's averaging 16 on the season. He's a 50, 40, 80 guy. So you can say De'Aaron Watkins struggled, didn't have a big game. You can say the same thing for Jagger Martis. So it's going to be a big matchup. I think everybody's excited for that one. I know the Sports Center will be full. I think I've had like 4 5th region coaches call me and say, can we get into this game for free? We want to come watch because the 5th and the 3rd play first round of the state tournament. So doing some early scouting, but it should be a fun region, man. I'm really blessed to be from that 3rd region. It's always competitive. It's always fun. And this year it's as good as it's been for a while.
Nice.
So let me ask you something real quick. You talk about you need a good point guard in the 3rd, or any region, any high school team needs a good point guard. Who's the best closer in the 3rd region? 2 minutes to go, game's on the line. Who's going to close the deal?
Jonathan Moss. Jonathan Moss. He goes into that 3rd quarter kind of having an all right halftime. I'll give Caden Gaither a lot of praise for Grayson. You hold him to 13 points through 3 quarters. Moss comes out, scores 16 points in the 4th quarter, ends with 29, gets to the free throw line. He's really good at that. He gets to the line. He knows how to play. One thing that, when you evaluate him, you're looking at so many different things, but you have to be a smart defender. You get your hand here, he's going up, he's getting 2. He's a really good shooter. He plays at a good pace. I think Moss as a closer is just phenomenal. And I know there's some really talented guys over here. who are just super good in the clutch and things like that. But I think Moss, when it comes to point guards in the state, he's right there with the top guys, Amari Owens, all those top names, Athens McGillis. But Moss is probably your best closer. But it's interesting because if you get into a late game with either of these teams, the two best free throw shooters in the state, Jack Lawson's number one for Grayson, Moss is two. So you don't really want to play a foul game with either of them, so you want to build a lead. Davis lost to Grayson last year at home in the regular season matchup. Then they go to the Sports Center, and Davis has their way. Moss goes for, I think, 33 points, just has a phenomenal game. It'll come down to them two, and it's going to be fun. I'm a little personal bias, but I'm excited for this one.
I don't think I've ever seen Jonathan Moss sped up in a game. He's always composed, same speed, offense, defense. He's a ball hawk on the defensive side of the court.
Yeah.
His IQ, like you said, is just above a lot of other point guards out there. If you have not seen him play live, it's worth the admission.
I say a pretty hot take sometimes, but I think in the last year he is the most, I guess you would say, most improved player. He went from his dad saying, well, I don't know how good he's going to be. A lot of people saying he's D2 at best, Kentucky Wesleyan, just go there and play. Now he's got 17 D1 offers. He's transformed his body. He's grown 2 inches. And I always go back to the fact that it's hard to beat Moss in postseason time because when he was a freshman, he was with Kenyatta Carden at Owensboro competing as a freshman, averaging 9 points a game when they made the state tournament. Then the next year he has 30 points on that loaded Butler County team. They didn't win, but he goes off for 30 as a sophomore. Last year he makes it. So, I mean, he's a winner. He's a proven winner. He does it at the highest level. So it's hard to count out Davis County, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I got a question for you. It seemed like Davis County early in the season was playing really good. I saw him in Lexington. Very efficient. Again, Moss. I loved his mid-range game, which people probably don't see as much this time. But it seems like they may have been slumping a little bit, kind of toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite of that, I saw Grayson play in Louisville, and I think Martis was out, and Gaither had just become eligible, and they weren't a great team. I mean, you could tell they had the ability, but they weren't in sync because they were missing 2 guys who, essentially didn't have that flow. And so it seems like they're probably playing better now. Is that what you've seen as well?
It's like you've never really got to see either team full strength. You know what I'm saying? So, Martis is out all of the KOB. Jack's playing on a hurt ankle. So you're like, nobody's really fully 100%. But they still show flashes. Okay, you add this 16-point per game score, and maybe they win the consolation side, But they're Davis County, after their Apollo game, which they played recently, Moss got ejected, so he missed 2 games. Acton got banged up, so he missed 2 games. They dropped a game to a team out of Indiana, so there's some asterisks to it. You didn't get to see Moss play for 2 games. I think people's attempting to figure him out a little bit. They think they have the answers, but Coach Neal's been throwing some different stuff out there. A lot of people say, a good coach waits and shows some of his best stuff in the postseason. So either of these teams could spice things up, but Grayson battled injuries early, Gaither had 1 practice under his belt before the KOB, so that was kind of something. And then Davis County, you get Moss back from that ejection. You play Catholic, who is like your rival. Catholic, they always, even when they had Tim Riley, now they got Tabor, they just do a great job kind of scouting them and Apollo, and that they see them so much. And they're sharing game film. You know better than me. They're giving each other pointers. But you never really got to see either team full strength, so I'm excited to see them both kind of all 100%. Matching up. I think it's going to be a really fun game.
Sounds good. I'll tell you what, we'll move on to the 4th region, and then we'll move into a break after that. So the 4th region, on the boys' side, we're looking at Warren Central, Franklin Simpson, Clinton County, Barron County, Logan County, South Warren, Glasgow, and Monroe County. We'll just go back to you, and then
before you go on your speech, you might as well just give this to Warren Central. I don't think there's going to be anybody that really competes with them. We can talk about it whoever you want to, but let's be realistic.
It's theirs to lose. You know what I'm saying? It's theirs to lose. Clinton County got Cade Button eligible not too long ago. He was Metcalf's best player last year. Clinton's good. They're a good team. They battled Caverna at the All-A, only lost by 2. They've got a good resume. You get Cade Button back. He's kind of getting into his field. They didn't start him his first few games. Now he's starting. You got Will Beatty going to Brescia, Jackson Howard, who's a really good player. They played they played Barron County, I think 2 weeks ago. It was like a 10-point game, so that could be a fun matchup. But I don't want to sit here and talk all day. I'm just going to go with Lovell. It's Warren Central's to lose. It is. You got 7 seniors. You got debatably the most talented junior in the state, and Armani Bird. You've got Def. You've got Unseld coaching. I mean, he lost last year in the first round of region. He hadn't done that in a long time. I can personally say from the conversations I've had with him, he's a little peed off. So he's ready to come out there and get it done. They're talented. They're deep. They guard you. I always say defense travels, so it doesn't matter where they play. They're going to look to hold you to 40 points. They don't care if they beat you 38-40. That's a bigger win than beating you by 30 to them. So Warren Central's a team to beat here.
I think the interesting part of this one, again, Warren Central is one of 2 teams in the state that I think is almost a lock to win their region. We'll get to the other later. But the bottom half of the bracket is kind of fascinating because usually you're just looking for a Warren Central Bowling Green final. Yeah. And that's not going to happen this year.
Where's Bowling Green? Where are they?
Right.
It's weird.
Right. So I think South Warren, I think this might be the first time they've ever made a region tournament. You've got, Monroe County, I don't know if they've ever even made a region final. And then, Glasgow, it's been 25 years since they had Brandon Stockton, since they were kind of competitive toward the back of the region. Logan County, you can get back to, the 84 title team. But, somebody out of that group is going to have a huge result in at least making a region final. So that bottom half of the bracket is interesting, even though it might not resonate statewide. I think within that region, that'll be something very fascinating to watch.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Well, since we have knocked out a quarter of the teams, we will take a break here real quick and pay the bills, and we will be right back.
I still can't believe she's gone. I don't know how we're going to plan all of this.
I know. I felt the same way when your granddad passed. The Kaufman Funeral Home really helped us get through it.
Were they compassionate?
More than that, they took care of us. They made us feel like family. They handled the entire situation from beginning to end.
At Kaufman Funeral Home and Crematorium in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, we're honored to walk beside your family with dignity and compassion every step of the way.
That's exactly what we need right now.
Kaufman Funeral Home, where we believe every life is a beautiful story that deserves to be honored with love, dignity, and heartfelt celebration.
Hands clacking, bats cracking, fans cheering. We're never slacking. Corner to corner, you know what we do. Representing hometowns all the way through. 4 counties, 1 voice, 1 goal. To lift the kids up and let the stories be told. From the bleachers to the field, it's all heart. We're more than a podcast, we're a community part. From the corner to the corner, we bring the heat. High school pride, we're repping every street. Sean West, Adam, Daron on the beat. Mount Sterling made, where the love runs deep.
Spring is here. Are you sure your roof is ready for the rain? Winter weather can leave behind hidden damage like loose shingles, cracked flashing, and clogged gutters, all of which can lead to costly leaks. At CRC Roofing and Renovations, we provide expert spring roof maintenance, leak prevention, and repairs to keep your home safe and dry. Don't wait until water damage ruins your home. Call CRC Roofing and Renovations today at 859-327-3913 or visit our website to schedule your free spring roof inspection. Protect your home with Central Kentucky's trusted roofing experts.
Anthony is using Community Trust Bank's mobile banking with Zelle to have the driveway shoveled, his part of the big lunch meeting, and the birthday gift for the niece that was due yesterday. That means Anthony made it on time to watch the big game and see the home team score the winning shot. Mobile banking with Zelle at Community Trust Bank. Fast, easy, and secure.
Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
Driving by and see that light, stop on in, get your colors right. It's more than gear, it's your story design. At Incoviv Designs, every thread's a sign.
All right, welcome back to the I still didn't even look it up on the end while we were out. But the region roundup, from corner to corner region roundup here.
Management's not here. We can call
Management's
what
not
we want.
here. Oh, he's going to lose his mind. Why didn't you say the right name? But again, we've got Joseph Decker, Ivan Ralls, Darryl McCoy, Lovell Martin, Clark and Troy Howell on the panel tonight, going over the region tournament here, the road to Rubber Arena. That will be basically completed come next week for the boys anyways. So we'll move right into the 5th region. And the 5th region has got Taylor County, Thompson Nelson, Cavernia, E-Town, North Hardin, LaRue County, Bardstown, and Adair County. And yes, the panel knows. I couldn't print that one out because their district finished up on Saturday, and they did the draw today. So that just got completed today. 5th region. We'll go down here to the Howell brothers and let you start, and we'll move back down here to Joe after that.
Yeah. So North Hardin, they've been going recently really good because they got Barry on the team. He missed, I think, the first several games of the year. He's averaging over 27 points. So, it looked like it was going to be Cavernas to lose, maybe Taylor County in there. But then with North Hardin going strong, they picked up some really good wins. So I'm going to pick them. Caverna has been good, but they don't really have any of the top wins if you look at their resume. So I think maybe if you look overall, big picture, maybe you say Caverna's had a better year. You look lately, what's been going on, I'd say North Hardin. What about you?
Yeah, I think those are the two favorites. Taylor County could push Caverna in the second round. Cooper Stone, I think a sophomore, is really impressive guard for them. Enjoyed watching him play. Of course, Caverna doesn't have much depth, but boy, their starting lineup is about as good as you're going to get. And then really Adair County is a solid team. I think LaRue County is a solid team. So. As Caverna and North Hardin are the favorites, but I don't see it being a lock that it's those two in the finals. I think there's an outside chance any of those 5 could make a run to a region title.
I really like that Taylor County team.
Yeah.
Stone is really tough, but I'm not going to go against Caverna. I think they have too much. Like you guys just said, they don't have that much of a bench, but their main guys play really good, and because they've been there all season, they've been to some really good tournaments when they came up to Lexington. I think they've been battle tested to the fact that they'll make it to Rupp Arena.
Yeah. At least the region tournament looks like that it actually fell to where everyone, you should see, unless there's a major upset, you should see your top 4 teams landing at semifinals and go on to the final regional final at that point.
Yeah, no, this is another one of those regions I get to see a lot. It's fun and competitive this year. I'll say this about Caverna. It's so hard to judge them because you don't get Gavin Lightning until January. And, he's a top 15 kid in that senior class, Division I offered. So they did struggle a little bit, up at Lexington, but you got to think they're playing without a D1 kid. So it never jumped too high on the gun to judge them. But they've been rolling since Lightning's been back. Taylor County's really good. And look, Taylor County, they don't have size. They don't have size, but they play so hard. It's hard to not love their team. Cooper Stone has debatably been the most productive kid in the region this year outside of Carry-On Berry. I know they're itching to want to play Caverna in that second round. They want that matchup. Caverna's good. Big thing for Caverna is the past probably 6 games they've been without Jason Graves, who's your 6'9" stretch big, who averages 8 points, a few rebounds, blocks it well. He dealt with a little bit of a knee injury. I know he sprained his ACL, so he came back last night. He played his first game against LaRue, limited minutes, did some good things. I'll say this. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. It's probably Caverna or North Hardin's. Here's the thing with North Hardin. Coach Slime, Coach Balfour, love him. He coaches so well in the postseason. If you would have told some people last year North Hardin was going to be in the regional final and they would have beat Greene County, they would have laughed at you. Then they make it and they battle Adair. He does a great job. You know what you're going to get out of Carry-On Berry. There's a reason people consider him the best player in the state in that class. Their guard play is super talented. You get Cam House from Meade County, the freshman. You get Terrion Mack from South Carolina. There's a guy they call him Peanut. His name's Michael Cleaver. He's a 6'5" guard. They have so much guard talent, but the problem has been inconsistencies with them. You got two guys who can give you 20 a night at the guard spots, but there's nights they combine for 6. So I'm not going to necessarily say there's no way North doesn't make it out of that first round. LaRue's good. Coach Childers does a great job. He needs to be respected more. He lost Jagger Martis, Lucas Thompson, and Landon Blakey. That was his big 3 last year. Landon Blakey goes to Adair. Jagger Martis goes to Grayson. Lucas Thompson graduates, and they are a top 5 team in the region when nobody had any type of expectations. You've played Caverna 3 times. You kept it within 10 twice. You beat them once at their place. That deserves some respect. He's going to get his guys playing their best game. They got a little flex offense they run that's fun. They don't care to hold the ball, but they're going to guard you, and they're not big. And they've battled Caverna 3 times. So Adair County has debatably the best big 3. You know, you have Tylen George, you have Landon Blakey, you have Dawson Gilbert. Taylor County did an amazing job at shutting out Dawson Gilbert. He went from 34 points to 8 points. They got the win in the district. So Coach Breeze has won it back-to-back years. It's hard to count him out. You know, he's kind of like the godfather of the 5th region. You know, he wins it. He's been back-to-back years. I would pick Adair to win that game and then match up with North Hardin, but I'm trying to stress it. Don't sleep on LaRue County. But we seriously have a chance. You know, if Taylor County, Caverna, North Hardin, and Adair play in those semifinals, like everybody's going to be there. You know, that's the 4 best teams in the region. You got them all matching up. It's at Greene County this year. It's not a very big gym, but a lot of people fill in. It's going to be fun because all the coaches, a lot of them came on my podcast. You got to see it. It's the Wild Wild West. You've had about 20 transfers. You've had all kinds of different changes. You've had guys leaving. It's up for grabs. And, you know, North has been phenomenal since Carryon Berries came back. If you've not seen him, he's must-see TV. Dude's got 18 Division I offers. Just got Western Kentucky. Just got Kennesaw State. He's got offers from St. Louis, who's a top 25 team in the country. He's got a Butler offer, which is, you know, high major. So I highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to roll with Caverna. You know, Coach Pittman has been so good at the college level. Now he's doing it at the high school level. He's really got these guys playing a good brand of basketball. You've got a school in Caverna that's never really seen much sports success, so you're seeing them thrive right now. Their fan base loves it. He's got a super talented group. He's got the Martin twins, Lightning, Jalen Crane, who, if we're going to talk about top point guards in the state, just had 20.7 assists against St. X. I'm stressing it again. Size, they're a top 10 defensive team. They rebound it better than anybody against good competition, and then you got a good point guard. It's going to be hard to beat them. You know, it's one of those situations they're probably going to have to beat themselves.
I don't know which Martin twin that is that rebounds the heck out of that ball, but he is a body. Yeah. Like, he moves, he uses his weight to his advantage. I mean, he's a beast down low.
Yeah. It's Tyson Martin's the one that has the better stats. He rebounds it, but Kenyon's the one who shoots it better. And the only way to tell a difference is one of their tattoos is right here, the other one's right here. They got them on different shoulders. That's the only way you can tell the difference. They are the most identical set of twins I've ever seen. Really.
Wes, before you move on,
yes,
if you ever want to get news out first, you need to be tied in with bus drivers.
Okay.
Breaking news: Montgomery mock trial just won yet another state championship.
Oh wow! Okay, that's all right. That's all they made the championship.
Roll trial.
Round, so
Roll trial.
nice.
Source.
Nice.
We dominate.
Congratulations to Montgomery County state mock trial team. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Probably one of the only non-athletic teams we've had on the show.
I have to be honest and say, being from Illinois, I have never heard of this event. Congratulations to these kids. I did not know this was a thing.
Hey,
future
West
attorneys.
Virginia here, same thing.
Future attorneys out there.
So what you're saying is I need to look them up.
Yeah, if you want to be friends with those young people.
It got to the point where we have to have them on because it's state championship after state championship after state championship. They brought their hardware, they brought the mallets, they brought everything with them.
They won a national
championship.
They won national
the year after the year that we interviewed them. I think
we had them on right after their national championship.
That's what it was.
It's one thing to win state championship, but then they won a national championship. We're like, well, maybe we need to put them on this show.
That's how I feel about the Douglas cheerleaders. They had more state championships than anyone else at Douglas. But they don't get no love.
Listen, we could do a whole nother show about the cheerleading in the state of Kentucky. There ain't no doubt about that.
How do you interview a mock trial team? That's a genuine question. What do you kind of ask?
Listen, we
Money,
let
it was
them.
I'll be honest
you
with
let
you.
them talk.
I'll be honest with you.
We let them give us the information and teach us as the interview went on.
Talk about the trials.
Absolutely.
Who
How
had what
does it work?
responsibilities and all that
You know?
good stuff.
Yeah.
What was
Absolutely.
the argument? Yeah.
And that's a group that's not going to have any trouble talking. You know,
Yeah.
you might get some
Right.
athletes in here, they're a little shy, but
Yeah.
you get mock trial. That's what they do. So.
Especially the one that's like, what was it, the star witness or something? Ain't that one of them?
Oh, yes,
If you
yes.
get one that's a star witness, they'll tell you details. Just let them go.
Maybe Coach High and Coach Perry need to put one of them on their bench so they can argue with the officials to overturn a call when they need to. You know?
I like that idea.
I thought we said Sean wasn't here.
Well, that's true.
All right. Well, congratulations to them again. We will move on into the 6th region and float into the Jefferson County here and in the city of Louisville. As the 6th region is Butler, Pleasant Ridge Park, the WEB Du Bois, Bullitt Central, Fairdale, J-Town, Jeffersontown, and Moore and DeSales. So,
Hang on before we get into.
Okay.
I noticed there's different locations in the first round. So what's that about? Anybody have any idea?
Win district winner.
It's like the
host.
winners.
District winner,
Yeah,
host, just like the
district
girls.
winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be like
Gotcha.
that in every region, but that's another topic.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably gonna be WD Du Bois versus J-Town for this. Du Bois is really tough, really tough. J-Town, their coach just demands defense out of these kids. They play very physical, very tough, and they're just always in the picture. I mean, you can't sleep on Fairdale, but I just don't see them having enough to deal with J-Town. I don't know what else to say besides that. I think it's going to be J-Town that comes out victorious, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was WB Du Bois.
so they're in the same district, correct?
Yes,
So, and Du Bois just beat them.
in the championship.
Yeah. And was that a pretty
55-54.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of another district. So so that was, and so you're looking at probably seeing that another rematch.
Yes.
Is that the third time they've met this year, or is it like a lot of?
Before we get there, I wouldn't sleep on Butler.
I agree.
I mean, Butler, they don't have, at least when I've seen them, they don't have anyone who wows you. Like, you don't look at them and be like, oh, this is a superstar team. But, man, they're just solid. Yeah. They're just solid. I mean, they've lost, 4 or 5 games this year, all to very good teams. So, and last year they had a very, very solid season, brought a lot of guys back. I can't think of his name. Someone came back from injury that missed most of last year. Heath, I think.
Brandon Heath.
Brandon Heath was out last year and came back, and one of the top type players in the region. So they were really good. J-Town was a top 5 team in the state at one point, and they've really struggled the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5, something like that. So, and then Du Bois has, one of the best juniors in the state, Jeri Brown. So this is a wide open, I'll say wide open. I think I'd put Butler as the favorite. J-Town's probably the most talented. Like you said, Du Bois probably has the best player. PRP, DeSales, Fairdale are all 3 quality teams. And the 6th region got by far the best draw in the state tournament of anybody. Just loving it. So there's a lot of teams who are probably looking at this as an opportunity to have a real huge year.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think Butler deserves respect. They don't wow you. You said it best. I think their tallest player is 6'5". They run the floor and they shoot the 3. That's what they do. They're going to run you. They're going to press you. Coach Geary is in my top of the top coaches in the state. He's phenomenal. I wanted to go into this region hyped for Fairdale because I think Coach Stennett's such a good coach. His son, Michael Ray Stennett, is as good a shooter as anybody in the state. If they had Fernandez right, I think we'd be talking about Fairdale winning it all, But obviously, him not being there, and that's what sucked. I wanted to make these guys make a run, but they play J-Town. And Richard Duncan in the postseason is, I guess, the Coach K. I guess you can make a comparison like that. He wins in the postseason almost better than anybody. He's going to get you to Rupp Arena. I know they had some bad games. I think it was one of them was North Oldham, St. X. They played the gauntlet. They had 3 tough games. I'm not going to be too hard on them. I think Du Bois deserves more respect. They've not been a school for super long. It's like every time they do anything, they're breaking a record. So they're new. I think this is their first year they even had a home court to play in. But Dry Brown's the best player in this region. He's a supreme talent. He's so talented, mid-major plus type of kid, really talented point guard. His dad, the head coach, James Alexander, he's all about winning, man. Whatever it takes. He'll play you in the 30s, he'll play you in the 80s. But I think Du Bois and Butler in that second round is a game that is must-see. I think Butler beat Du Bois by 1 point earlier in the year. I think it was at the LIT. So that's a game I'd love to see again. It's just so hard to pick against J-Town because you know what they do, but they don't feel the same J-Town that you normally have right now. But then you also go back and say, well, they're better in the postseason. So I think I would lean toward J-Town. I want to give some love to DeSales. Cam Biscoff is averaging, I think, 24 this season. He's one of the better dual sport athletes in the state. Great quarterback, really good basketball player. Lovell Moore is led by a point guard. It's a freshman, C.J. Sweeney. Really, really talented kid. So they've got a chance to make some noise. It would be really good for Moore to get a win, get some postseason experience with a freshman point guard. Then next year you start having some other conversations. Well, maybe they can go this far. I would lean J-Town just because it's so hard to pick against Coach Duncan in the postseason. But I think you guys said it really well. Louisville Butler demands some respect. They went out last year. Adrian Wilder going to Kentucky State. Super, super good talent. They got a lot of guards. Just interested to see how can they rebound. How can they guard you down low? That's been their problem all year. They're not super tall. But I want to see a Butler J-Town finals. I do. I really do. But I think it's going to be hard to beat Du Bois now because they're playing for a reason. The school's not been around very long. I think they just had this is their first 20-win season. Their fans are awesome. Dry Brown's he's kind of trying to prove himself a little bit, prove why he is this #1 ranked guard in that class, why he deserves this respect. So I could see him having a legendary run in the 6th region tournament. But I would probably lean J-Town just because, the dominance they bring in the postseason.
So just going off of this panel, we're talking about, it sounds like this region is probably the most wide open of any of the regions we've talked about so far, just because there's so much talent at each school, and the way with home court advantage on the first part of this region also with some of these teams, you just never know what could happen. You should have, a really good semifinal finals on this region.
I think Butler's the best team, but J-Town, Coach Duncan has the magic, like they were saying. So we'll see.
So we'll move into the 7th region. We've got St. X, Central, Trinity, Eastern, Ballard, Male, DuPont Manual, and Wagner. Lovell, we'll just.
This is going to be a really tough one for me. St. X is very tough.
Yeah.
They have tinkered between 1 and 3 all year in my rankings. Maybe at the lowest, I might have had them 4. Trinity recently got Jaden Johnson back, and so they've turned a complete corner, and they're playing really strong. So I think those two will meet in the second round. That's going to be a Tyson Holyfield type fight. Ballard and Male in the first round.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. I'd pay $50 to be in that gym that night.
Well, don't give anybody any ideas.
I'm just telling you, they pay people to park. You got to pay to park up in Louisville at certain games now. I don't know what they're doing, but that game's going to be well worth the admission. DuPont Manual, they've been up and down all year. You don't know what you're going to get from them any night. Oh my goodness. It's hard. It's really hard to go against St. X. I think St. X is going to I think St. X.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Troy?
I'm taking Ballard, but this is a brutal region to pick, and it's the hardest region. It's a gauntlet. It's like, congratulations, you win the 7th region, you get to play Cuff Cath probably in the first round. I mean, but I like Ballard because, you know, he's gotten eligible. He's been rolling with them. They actually have a better RPI than St. X, barely, but St. X has been in my top 3 all year. I think I got him number 1 or number 2 right now. I think I got him number 1. But I just think Ballard can do it. We're looking at St. X is a top 25 team. Eastern is top 25. Ballard is top 25. Male was, but they've had an injury to Trey Hilrick. Manuel's top 25. Trinity's borderline top 25. So it's just a gauntlet. But I think Male's gone the wrong way since the injury. So I really think Ballard will make the finals and then just kind of flip a coin with X. I mean, do you think X will make the finals for sure? You think Trinity or Eastern?
Eastern Trinity's a great first-round game, really.
Yeah.
I mean, take your pick there. I've gone back and forth on who I think is going to win that. I mean, St. X is definitely the favorite to make the finals, without any question. But I wouldn't be shocked if they lost in the semis. Now, first round, that might be the biggest blowout in the state. But
I don't see Trinity losing at home. Not if it was on a neutral floor.
That will be tough. I mean, Male, though, you talk about Male, not only is Hilliard out for the year, but Mitchell missed the last few weeks. I think he played his first game back against St. X in the district final, and it was, a 3-point game. So I wanted to pick Ballard to make a run, but then I saw that draw, and I'm just like, you got to go through Male and then Maine. I mean, for them to make the state finals, they'd have to be probably the 4 teams that have been ranked number 1 in the state this year. I mean, it's just kind of insane how hard the draw is for whoever, Ballard or Male. You're probably beating, if you want to win 7 games to win the state championship, you're beating 7 top 15 teams. Yep. Just absolutely insane. And then Manuel might be kind of the most underrated team this year. Like that's a team no one talks about. They don't ever get mentioned in the elite company, but you look at their resume. I think you can make an argument they're a top 10 team in the state as well. So I think the draw is a little bit more favorable to St. X, so I would lean toward them, but that's going to be a fun one. And if you get St. X Trinity in the semifinals, and then follow that with Male Manuel, like the possibility of those 2 semifinals, those might be 2 of the biggest rivalries in the history of the state. Yeah. I mean, you could probably move that to Freedom Hall and sell out. So I don't know what Valley's going to end up being. So much as a Valley now, so I mean it'll cut 20.
Is Valley even in Kentucky?
It's basically on the river.
If somebody tells me I got to go to a game in Valley, no, I'm not going. It's far.
Yeah, no.
Anything against that?
It's the SEC of Kentucky high school basketball.
I think I can get to Joseph's house before I can get to Valley.
Well, I'll be going to Valley, and I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be an experience. I'll be Tuesday night. I'm going to Ballard and Male, and I think that might be one of the most storyline games of the season because you've got Cole Edelin leaving Male, going to Ballard, now they play. And I think Frakes put out a tweet. He was like, we could have Male versus Ballard, and like he had some cool tweet that was put out. We could have Butler and J-Town first round. Like we could have all these really good rival games, and you get Male and Ballard. And I don't think it's fixed, but I knew this one. I think a lot of us knew this one was probably going to happen. It's a fun matchup. Coach Tim Hayworth, he just does it. He just wins, and it's hard to go against him. You said it. You go without Trey Hilliard, then you lose Jordan Mitchell for a month. Comes back against Manuel. He's 85%. He's okay. He's getting back. And then he comes to play St. X. He's looking more. I think it just depends how healthy he is. He couldn't go back to back after the Manuel game. He couldn't play Cathedral. Then he came and he played St. X. He didn't play in the district first round. James Clark went for 41 points. It depends how healthy Jordan Mitchell is for me, because if you play Male and Ballard, Ballard it's personal for Cole. It is. And then you have Mason Grivna. Jaden Johnson, who was kind of their star freshman, he was playing their big guy role. He got a concussion. He's going to try and play Tuesday, I was told. But he's been out for like a week. So it's going to be a stretch. It's going to be entertaining. But you got Mason Grivna, who's 6'11", down there at the pound. You got Cole Edelin at the helm. And a big thing for me for Cole was I couldn't tell as a scout if this guy was a combo guard, a point guard. I could never tell. Coach Willis gave him the keys, be the point guard, lead us to victory. He's been really good this year as the one. So he's kind of sticking into that point guard role. I think Ballard wins it. I love St. X and what they got. I think they're so talented. I think it's going to be hard to beat them, but I don't know. I lean toward Ballard. You know, last year I was a little iffy on St. X. I rolled with them, and they won it. Trinity is really talented again. You know, Jaden Johnson makes a world of difference. If you've not seen Eastern, I recommend seeing them. You know, they have the Twin Towers in the high school basketball. You got Damian Jung, who's 6'10", and then Noah Bull, who's 7'1". So their offense sometimes is a little questionable because, you know, they go out there and they score 50 points and they don't really find a rhythm. They lost by 30 to Ballard in the district championship. So it's hard to kind of get a feel on Eastern for me. But then you say, okay, well, they got Jeff Morrow. So it's kind of hard to pick against them. They're led by a freshman point guard and Trey Mack. But I like Trinity and St. X in that second round. I like Ballard and Manuel. And giving Manuel respect, I love that. You know, they don't have a guy. They don't have a guy that you look up and you say, oh, I know him. They don't. But they have 5 guys who all play really, really good basketball. Ahmad Shelton, double-double threat at night. Geoffrey and Jogu. Dario Harper, who's a guy we better get familiar with. He's a sophomore. He's making a lot of noise over there. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but Manuel making it to that region finals is not out of the realm of possibility. You know, they're going to give Ballard every bit of a game. I think Ballard might have only beat him by 1 or 2 when they played most recently. So that's going to be a heck of a matchup. I like what Ballard's got. I mean, you got Barron Clay. You know, you have Quentin Woods, who's one of the better freshmen. You have Mason Gribna, who I will stand on this as a top 5 freshman in the country. I've seen a few of them. He's legit, man. And then Cole Eland's playing his best brand of basketball. Have fun beating Ballard, but then, you know, there's that little bird in the back of my head. Well, St. X has all these guys, and they made it last year, and this is revenge. Go there and win it this year. It's the toughest one to pick, in my opinion. I'm stuck between St. X and Ballard. I'd lean Ballard. Ballard beat them last time, and then the first matchup, Ballard was up decently. They had a few late game turnovers, gave it over to St. X, but I'm going to lean Ballard. My gut says Ballard, so I'm going to lean Ballard winning this region.
Sounds good.
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit. I think it was Clark.
Yeah.
Hit about the 7th and 9th region playing each other in the first round. Can we flex that game out of the first time slot on a Wednesday morning? Let's flex that to Wednesday night.
That is insane that they put that first. I guess, I mean, hey, you better be ready for this tournament. You better be showing up early. So it's, there's not waiting around for day 2 for people to want to come in and watch that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just we'll roll into the 8th region here. The boys' 8th region got Henry County, South Oldham, Simon Kenton, Spencer County, North Oldham, Walton Verona, Woodford County, and Gallatin County. Excuse me.
Words are hard.
Words, well, I mean, you know. So, by all means, anybody, give us a roll down here.
North Oldham is probably your favorite.
Yeah.
They're really tough. Coached by a very good young man. They're very methodical. They run their system. They don't get flustered. They could be down 10 and they're still going to play the same way, and next thing you know, they're going to be up 12. They just continually play the same way.
Led by a very young talent also in
I'm sure some people,
Pierre Rondo.
Yeah, some people's heard of him, I'd say.
Rondo, yes.
As an 8th grader.
With that being said, Woodford County match up with them in the second round is going to be must-see TV. Unfortunately for me, I think Woodford County is going to win that game and put a lot of people on notice.
Gotcha.
I got Woodford County going to Rupp. Coach Brown does not shy away from playing anybody during the season because he says it doesn't matter. I mean, the regular season, I want my guys to be battle tested so that when it comes time for district region, that's when it matters. And they've gotten all their guys eligible from transfers. They're playing as a team. Everybody's healthy. They just really get after it. They play, 84 feet, 94 feet, whatever. But whatever the court length is, they're going to play you, and you're going to know that you played Woodford County at the end of the game. You can't even overlook Simon Kenton or Henry County either. I mean, they're good, solid teams. but I think the best matchup is going to be that North Odom versus Woodford County in the second round.
Well, they're both 8-0 in the region, so they're both undefeated. Those two teams. I do think it's a good draw for South Oldham, though, on the top. I think South Oldham is dangerous, and they're loving the draw. So I think North Oldham's the favorite, and someone's got a shot to make the pretty far in the state tournament too. Whoever wins this.
Yeah, that whole quarter of the draw is pretty wide open. North Oldham, as was mentioned, Rondo, I think is probably one of the top 3 8th graders I've seen in the state in 25 years. You got that OJ Mayo, you got Zion Harmon. Those two stand out to me. He's impressive. Like, he does things that you don't see high school players do, much less 8th graders. And think about what they've dealt with. Sears left, 2 days before the regular season started. They thought they were going to have that backcourt tandem. I think Eli Green got hurt maybe 3 weeks ago. He's been out the last few games, and yet they just keep winning. They keep winning. Like Lovell said, that semifinal with them and Woodford, I think that's what it'll be. Should be a fascinating game. If we're picking a sleeper, though, I can see South Oldham making a run the same way they did last year. Last year, no one expected it. This year they lost, by 31 or something. North Oldham lost the next time in the district championship by 10. If it's South and North in that finals, I could see that being one of the big, I'll call it a surprise based on rankings, but, if South gets hot, they know how to shoot, they know how to score. They beat Ballard by 17, and this was when Ballard was at full strength, basically. So that should be a fun one, I think, as far as the region as a whole.
So this says, I don't know if this is right, but this says 2 games before they beat Ballard by 17, they lost to North Oldham. South Oldham did 61-28.
Yeah.
Is that story is correct? Okay.
Yeah.
My goodness.
No, it's open. I think whoever comes out of Woodford North is kind of your favorite. I agree with Lovell. I've been pushing the Omari Joyner train since the jump. I know you have as well. He's a phenomenal talent. I talk to him every day. I feel like sometimes he prioritizes football, but this dude's a mid-major point guard at the next level. He's a really talented basketball player. I like Chong, who recently got eligible. He's big. He plays big for them. I love Daron Brown and Coach D too. I think they love postseason basketball. I'll say this about South Oldham. Last year it was the same way. They lost to North twice in the regular season, came in, beat them in region. Julian Miles, last shot. Coach Levitch at North Oldham is just, he's such a good coach. He gets the best out of his guys. Every time I fill out a bracket, I have North Oldham making the Final Four when I make a little state tournament bracket. I do. But now you see what Woodford's doing. Now you see they play early. Now you're like, okay, is North even going to make it? I think North's the best team here. I think they're a top 5 team in the state. They're battle tested. They've played everybody. They're coached so well. They've got the point guard that I always go back to. You've got to have a good point guard, in my opinion. They've got size. Tommy Gregg, one of the most underrated juniors in the state. They got what it takes to win, but it's just every time I look at them possibly playing Woodford in the second round, I get a little more worried, because you just know how good Woodford is. And
Woodford plays way more physical than them.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key to the game, is how physical Woodford plays against other teams. Now, with that being said, I didn't get a chance to look it up. You also have to look at what refs are going to call that game.
What I was getting ready to say.
How tight or how loose that whistle is going to be when you have to play that game, because Woodford is going to throw bodies at you, and you're going to know again that you played against Woodford County when you finish playing.
Yeah, well, today, like at the 5th region draw, that's what coaches were talking about. Who's reffing our region? Who's reffing our region tournament? They got the 6th and 7th region refs. They're going to let them play. So that changes a lot of it. Woodford and North, that's a game I already plan on going to. I've checked it. It's going to be a good one, assuming they both make it. But I agree. South Oldham, you know how they are offensively. They're going to shoot 33s. They're a team you just don't want to play in this time of season, because they've had some games where they've hit 5 threes out of their 30. It's about time they start making some, and you might get dealt that bad hand where they go out and they take advantage of you. Let's not act like South's a bad team. You talk about that 17-point win over Ballard. The day after Ballard's on their, hot streak, they just beat St. X. So, Joaquin Siakam, super, super, super good talent. Nico Ballard leaves Collins, goes to South Oldham. Now we're talking about maybe the best three-point shooter in the state at times. and Coach Simpson does a really good job. So I think the 8th is another one that's wide open, but I think it's also got a favorite, if that makes any type of sense. Like, yes, we're all picking North Oldham a lot of times, but can they get by Woodford? Can South Oldham have some more March Madness like they did last year? So this one's tough for me. I talked to Coach Levitch on my way here, kind of getting an idea, how does he feel about things? How does this region look? It's going to be fun, man, and it's tough to pick a favorite.
So what you're telling me is I need to call Coach Brown, have a conversation. So as soon as this podcast is over and I'm getting in the car, I'm gonna call Coach Brown to get me some insight there.
We'll move on to the 9th here. From everything that I have seen, I don't know that this is going to take very long. We've got Highlands and Connor, Covcath and Dixie Heights, Lloyd Memorial, Holy Cross, Ralls, and Newport. And I think it was Evan Denniston that put a tweet out that said, if Covcath doesn't come out of this region, it would be, and we'll let Ivan. He just recently had Evan on the show, so we'll let Ivan get in here a little bit.
Well, I was just going to say with McGillis and Myrick, I mean, they're two dynamic scorers, and that 9th region, it's always interesting. We talked about physicality of play. It's a very physical region, typically. What kind of officials do you get? How would they be able to play? But it's kind of hard to think that anybody's going to be able to slow down those two guards in McGillis and Myrick. They're just, Myrick, he can get it off in a phone booth. I mean, this younger generation doesn't even know what a phone booth is, but it's a tight. Think about some of these closets in some of these older homes. He can get a shot off in a small space, and that's very dynamic with his length. But I see Covenant Catholic probably being that team that's going to come out there. You can pretty much, maybe not ink them in, but you can pencil them in. That's probably the favorite that everybody's shooting for. But, do you get a tough break? That's what may happen in a ball game. Somebody gets in early foul trouble, changes maybe the dynamic of the game. But it's kind of hard to go against the Colonels in that situation.
I mean, I'm writing Covcath in permanent marker already.
Yeah. That's all you had. You had crayons.
Right. Markers.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the biggest favorite. Maybe Warren Central, you could argue, but I think they're the biggest favorite to win the region. And it's not that the region's bad. It's just that all the other teams are all very competitive with each other. It's just there's this gap. You've got a top 3 or 4 team in the state, and then you've got a lot of teams that are probably in that, we might be the 30th or 40th best team in the state. I mean, Highlands, Connor, Lloyd, Holy Cross, Ryle, Newport, they're all pretty good teams. Yeah. But there's just that one team that's so far and above everyone else that, I think you can pencil in Covcath against whoever it is, Ballard, St. X, Mail, Manual. You got that first game of the state tournament is what all eyes are going to be on.
One stat for you is Covcath leads the state in margin of victory. 30.7 margin of victory. The next best is Lyon at 25.8, and the next best is Bell at 21.3. So they're 10 points better than any other team except for one with margin of victory.
Unbelievable.
And I bet within their region, if you just look at 9th region games, it might be even bigger than that.
Yeah, I would say so. I like Covcath. I think that's what everybody's going to say. I know Highlands had some really got a lot of love early in the season. I haven't got to see Highlands, I'll be honest. I watched a little film. They're an impressive team, but Covington Catholic just miles ahead of everyone in my opinion. I will say I think Lloyd Memorial is probably the team that I have in that finals. Coach Walker's a really good coach, and a lot of people were like, well, is he even going to coach? His son's not there anymore. Anthony Blaker, you could debate, might be the best player in the region. I know Covington Catholic has so much talent, but you could debate they have the best guy. Sometimes that can go a far way. I'll say this, you were talking about Braden. The development of Braden Myrick has been huge because, last year you talked about him, okay, sitting in the corner, shoot it. He came to our camp, top 40 All-Star. Okay, this kid's legit. Season, you watch him play male, watch him play at KLB. He's handling the ball. He's doing point guard things at times. Coach Thielen has done a phenomenal job with player development at Covington Catholic. I want to give him a lot of praise there. Myrick's a phenomenal player. We don't even mention Donovan Bradshaw, who's their 6'7" forward, who's their kind of aggressive guy who goes down there. And then Cash Harney, who I believe is committed to Kentucky for football. He's battle-tested. He's a warrior. So I think they got a 6'8" guy off the bench too, who Coach Thielen likes, so they're going to try to get involved. They're talented, man, and I think there's a reason they've been number one for a big part of the season. It's going to be hard to beat him, man. And if you've not seen him, and I think a lot of us stress this at KOB, if you've not seen Athens McGillis, it's time to see him because he is a talent, man.
Yeah, you look at him and you're like, there's no way this guy's going to be a star. And there's just no stopping him. He's fun. One other guy I'd like to give a shout out to, though, Finn Loudon from Connor.
Yeah, Connor.
That guy's fun to watch. Yeah. He was impressive when he played here in Montgomery County at the Gateway. And so he can score in bunches, too.
Oh, with that being said, I'm just going to throw this out there. Highlands is a football school.
Nobody's going to argue that.
I mean, for the longest time, the 9th region was just considered a football region, basically. They had no success in basketball up until kind of, I guess, Cub Cats broke through. I guess Holmes broke through first in, 2009 with the state title after a runner-up in 8. And ever since then, that's turned into a basketball powerhouse.
It used to be they played football on hardwood, too. Everything minus the shoulder pads and helmet, they were still playing football on the hardwood.
Hey, we got to let everybody know it's can we run like a sound? Can we run something? It's Lovell Martin time now, baby.
Let's go time. We not gonna go to the 10th first?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna go through the 10th. I didn't put it again. I didn't put it in your all's stuff, but I mean, I think we all kind of know who's in the 10th. But we'll go down through it here real quick. It's Mason County versus Scott.
And we'll do that after we pay some bills.
Producer says we gotta pay some bills.
Okay.
The lights are gonna get turned up.
I didn't see a 10th region packet on. I didn't see the paper.
Got a dent or scratch, no need to despair. Jacob's Auto Body, we're beyond compare. Custom paint, so sleek, insurance on our side. 70 years of trust, we're your hometown pride. Jacob's Auto Body will make it like new. 859-274-7425 is the clue. Jacob's Auto Body, run the show.
At Keystone Financial Group, we focus on what's important, you. As an independent firm, we have access to a wide range of financial services and objective research to help ensure your wealth is proactively managed. Call Joel Godby or John Morton today at Keystone Financial Group, 859-432-1084 for your local retirement and investment advice.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Keystone Financial Group, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Special thanks to Brent Wehunt, proud sponsor of our Menifee Athlete of the Month and scholarship programs.
At Rumpke Waste and Recycling, family is at the heart of all we do. Our name is on every truck, every container, every facility. And we take pride in what our family name represents. Friendly, reliable service. Families trust us. Businesses trust us. Communities trust us. And you can too. Learn more about our family business and the important work we do at Rumpke.com. Rumpke, waste and recycling done right.
When you can't fit the car in the garage anymore, or the guest bedroom is overrun with junk, it's time for a Rumpke open-top dumpster. Rumpke offers open-top dumpsters in a variety of sizes and are often delivered the next day. You fill the container with unwanted material on your schedule, and Rumpke takes care of the rest. Don't wait to reclaim your space. Contact the Waste and Recycling experts at Rumpke today. Rumpke, Waste and Recycling, done right.
back here with the From Corner to Corner Road Through the Regions.
We were close.
We were close. And I got it right that time, Sean. And we are now up to the final six regions that we're going to go over, and or 7. And we'll I promise, we're getting into the mountains and getting into
West don't care about the mountains.
Darryl's been sitting over here, and I'm like, man, I'm just Darryl's just sitting over here, just listening, taking notes and everything. But we are up to the 10th region, where we are located in, and like I said, Mason County, Scott County, Pendleton County, George Rogers Clark, Montgomery County, Bracken County, Campbell County, and Nicholas County. We'll start with Ivan, since we cover this, and kind of go from there. I mean, I think there's some good teams here, but I think it's kind of a, one of those you would think foregone conclusions who's going to latch up at the regional final.
And I think that's pretty much the sentiment of everybody in the region, that it was a 2-team race. Pretty much when you look at George Rogers Clark and Montgomery County, when you just look at the rosters of those 2 teams, the talent levels on there, you're talking about at a minimum 3 D1 type of players right now, maybe 1 or 2 more, possibly, depending on what a particular program's looking for. But there's nothing that really tells you that it won't be Montgomery County and GRC in the championship game. But obviously, when you're talking 10th region basketball over the last 2 decades especially, Campbell County's always going to play a part in it. And Austin Davey is an outstanding young talent. Can he get enough help? Should he go up against Montgomery County or GRC in the 10th region? The enigma has been, I think, Nicholas County for a lot of folks around here. They've got 3 solid players. They don't have a bench pretty much at all, but they never really performed to expectation, I don't think, in the big games. I thought we'd see a better performance in the All-A than what they had when they got down there, when they played Montgomery County here a few weeks ago. It was a disappointing performance, no doubt. So you look at Nicholas County, could they cause some problems? Maybe they could. But that's a matchup, Nicholas and Campbell County, that'll be interesting in the first round. I thought Scott High, they look good, with the way Coach Fromeyer plays. They're small, but they get the ball out, they run. It's a fun team. Kind of reminds me of when he had Jake Omar back several years ago, about how they'll get the ball out of the net and go with it. Mason Monroe, he's done a great job, I think, at Pendleton County. Unfortunately, he has to play GRC to start right. It out. I thought Pendleton County, when I saw him against Montgomery County, a lot of people looked at the point disparity at the end of that ball game, but you saw them doing some great things. I just don't think they can do anything to overcome the talent disparity in that matchup. So I really do. I see George Rogers Clark, Montgomery County, in a final, the 4th time this year. It's on a neutral court. Who can be the difference maker? I think Montgomery County, we talked about the different iterations with this team, of course, with Austin Sears coming on in the second half of the season with them, even though he'd been practicing with those young guys. I thought, when we saw him play in the 40th District Championship game, that I think Austin Sears was trying to find himself in that game. Maybe was pressing a little bit. You can imagine the intensity in that matchup. He's played in big games. He's been in big moments, but I think that was a little bit different for him. We saw what he did in the matchup at GRC to take it into overtime, but it was a little different this time around. I think it was. He's had that experience now, maybe a little bit different, but I thought I saw in that game, the way Andrew Terry he is a matchup nightmare for George Rogers Clark.
Yeah.
They don't have that guy that can match up with him, and we saw it at the beginning of that ball game, the way that he was able to dominate on the inside. I thought Montgomery County got a little bit out of character in that game. I think they were trying to put him away early. They started shooting, taking some uncharacteristic shots. Give Coach Josh Cook credit the second half, the way that he came after them defensively, and they pulled on Superman's cape. You had Montez Gay had 2 points in the first half.
Right.
You just don't ever expect that. And in the third quarter, he really turned it on. I thought one of the things in that game, and we saw this the first time these two teams matched up, was the job that Dawson Gentry did on Ryder Aiken from a defensive standpoint. Ryder Aikens is a difference maker for GRC. He was able to limit him with the way Montgomery County was able to play defense when he was on him man-to-man. Montgomery County was doing a lot of switching in the first half. Then they went to a zone in the second half, and it was like, oh, wait a minute. There's a puzzle out here we can't figure out because it took Montez Gay away from just taking over the game. But it'll be interesting to see in this fourth matchup, should it happen, to see what little tweaks either coach does to make a difference because it is so close. And I think we saw, and I don't want to say an awakening because the kid's been good in the first 2 seasons he's been with Montgomery County, but Tyson Jarvis, he tried to go in and try to dunk in that ball game late, and I think it changed the whole mentality of this Montgomery County team that I don't think they've had since the graduation of Caden Reed. Caden Reed provided that last year. He was the dog on this team, and I think when we saw Tyson Jarvis go in, he tried to flush that ball in the rim. I think it changed. You saw the Montgomery County team change. You saw him change in that moment. He had a phenomenal second half to Tyson Jarvis.
Ivan, we've said it 100 times since that game. Had that dunk you're talking about went in, the building would have fell down.
Yeah, but they would have been building a new
energy
gym.
Was already, the energy was already so high. And had that dunk have fell,
you would have seen it on SportsCenter.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And I don't want to get off the potential matchup of these two. Without talking about Malachi Ashford, I thought Malachi Ashford had an unbelievable first half. He kept GRC close enough to make a run, then take the lead there in that second half. But there's a lot of stories for those of you guys that don't understand the GRC and Montgomery County rivalry. It goes deep. There's times when one team is maybe far superior than the other. It don't matter in that game until you play that game. It's a unique situation that we saw play out already 3 times this season, and the fourth one, they're going to have auxiliary seating at the field house potentially with TV showing should these two teams get together again for a fourth matchup.
Well, the problem with Malachi Ashford is he only needs a half an inch. You leave him a half an inch, and he is so fast.
His ability to be creative at the basket against taller guys to get his shot off is unbelievable.
Well, before you realize you left him that gap, he's done gone. He's past you. He's at the rim.
Yeah.
And nobody else even realizes that he made the move. And Adam and I talked about it in just about every game throughout the district tournament, that you cannot blink when he's coming at you with the ball, because if you do, he's gone.
Yeah, fouls in that game will be at a premium. Those two teams, they may want to go 2 guys off the bench. They really don't. I think they want to try to play their 5-on-5 pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see who will be the unsung hero. I thought Isaiah Rowlett did a great job early in that game the other night, knocking down shots. His defense has gotten better over the season. He's been rebounding more. He's not just a normal 5th guy, because you leave him open, he's going to kill you.
The unsung hero for that game for GRC is going to have to be Jemiah Johnson.
Jemiah Johnson, he didn't have a big game.
That kid plays the game so well that he could be the star of the team. Unfortunately, you have Ashford.
And that's crazy when you talk about both of these teams.
You have Gay. So Jemiah has to find his spot in that offense, and he does it so well. Again, he's another one of those players that he just plays so smooth that you forget sometimes that he's even there, and you look at the stat sheet, and he's got 20 points. With that also being said, I mean, when you look at Montgomery County, they go 4 really good players. I mean, phenomenal. You got Sears, you got Jarvis, you got Terry. What are you going to do?
It is. It's crazy to sit there and watch it. And like I said, any night, any of those guys can get you 20 and, 6-7 rebounds.
You have to take your hat off to Montgomery County. Unfortunately, they lost their coach at the beginning of the year. They didn't have Sears at the beginning of the year. They've gone through a lot this season. and come together as a team for this moment.
Yeah, yeah,
When they beat GRC, I didn't see that coming.
yeah, yeah.
They showed me a lot that game. So round 4 is, man, all of these games wind up happening on the same night. So it's like, how do you pick what game you're going to be at?
Where do you go, right?
Like, where do you go?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you're at this game, but you got your phone pulled up and you're watching this game and you'll miss something. I mean, man, this is the best time of the year, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I think y'all hit the nail on the head that, your scouting reports are going to have your Malachi Ashfords, your Montez Gays. The tweak you were talking about, Ivan, is going to be who finds that Johnson or Rowlett and creates some kind of defense that prevents them from stepping up and being that star, because you know what you're going to do against your studs.
I always say, who plays above their numbers?
Yep.
Somebody plays above their season stats. We say numbers don't lie, and when you see that, and then you look out there on a game that somebody was a difference maker, they did something above what the trend was for them, and that's the one, you just never know. It's always the X factor a lot of times, like, I didn't see that coming, or you say, oh, we'll let them have that shot. Right. The other night, Montez Gay, hits a couple of jump shots, and it's like, you'd much prefer that if you're coaching against him than letting him get to the basket, because you're probably not going to stop him at the basket. He hits a couple of those, and you're like, oh, that might be the difference in this ball game. Unfortunately, Montgomery County changed the tune there late in that game.
I went and watched Montgomery County play Boyd County, and I don't know the kid's name, forgive me, number 12 for Montgomery County.
Isaiah Ralls.
Yeah.
He hit 4 threes, and I'm like, why aren't they passing this kid the ball? I'm like, I didn't know who the kid was.
He has to make do with 5-6 opportunities in a game. A lot of times
he does.
Yeah.
And he stayed poised the whole game, but every time they threw him that ball, I don't even know if the net moved.
Yeah.
And great young man.
Yes, he truly is.
There's just such an immense amount of young talent in the region. The 7th region sophomore class is amazing, but the 10th region is not far behind it in terms of, we talk about Sears and Terry and Akins and Davey. Those are 4 just high
Scott,
quality. And then Scott has a freshman, Benjamin Brown. Right. So, the youth in this region, I know it doesn't probably get a lot of respect maybe statewide in terms of individual talent, but that sophomore class especially is impressive.
For me, the storylines and similarities to last year are just crazy, eerie.
Yeah, right.
The win-loss record for Montgomery County last year wasn't that great. This year, it's not that great. The regular season, they lost to GRC last year. They lost to GRC this year. I don't think Montgomery County's beat Clark County in the regular season for like 10-plus years. But who cares if they win in the tournament, Right. The district championship, Montgomery County last year, Montgomery County this year. The point guard getting eligible mid-season, having to figure that out. It just seems like, is it going to have the same ending, or is it going to be a little bit different? Because Caden Reed was special, and he was a senior. He was battle-tested. And Sears is really good, too, but Clark County's got a lot better. And you've got GRC has elevated themselves to be, they won the state championship. They made the runner-up. They're there at Rupp a lot. They make the Final Four. Montgomery County's had to elevate themselves to catch them, not complain and say, well, we got to wait for Clark County to come down. No, they've elevated themselves. But the other thing that I was thinking was Montgomery County won the region in 95. And then 96, it's like, okay, this is the year to repeat, and just fell just short against Harrison County. Just short. And Fawns was not on that team. He was on 95, not 96. And then they won, was it 13 or 14? 13. They won in 13. And then Pruitt's not there in 14, but everyone thinks, okay, this is the year. And then at Campbell County, that Jackson guy blocks all the shots and everything. And it's like, lose a heartbreaker. And so is it going to repeat that? Or is it going to take last year and build on? I'm going to pick Montgomery County, but it's going to be close.
Don't break my heart with all those bad,
it's
bad Montgomery County memories. Being a big Montgomery County alum, you're breaking my heart. Let's have some trends of
I just want to get my hopes all the way up.
We'll move into the 11th region here, and
just back off the Michael level.
It is a stacked region, and we got Great Crossing, Richmond Model, Lexington Catholic, Bryan Station, Frederick Douglass, Franklin County, and then Madison Central and Tate's Creek. So, yeah, you live right there in the middle of the 11th region of Lovell. So.
Hey, man, this is probably, well, I'm going to be biased, the best region in the state, hands down. Unfortunately, I'm going to say something really bad right now.
Now, wait a minute, I saw Mr. Surratt was watching us here on Twitter, so be careful.
That's quite all right. You have Great Crossing in the first round playing against Richmond Model, and Richmond Model is 19-12. They have 0 wins versus a team with a winning record. That's going to be a cakewalk for Great Crossing, unfortunately. Then you go to game 2, you got Lexington Catholic versus Bryan Station, and you have Amari Owens, who is beyond worth the admission to go watch this young man play. He puts on a show every night, except for the last night they played Douglas. But other than that, I mean, he's been worth the full price of admission. He puts everything he has into every possession of the game. Great young man. Better off the court than he is on the court, if you can even imagine that. Lexington Catholic went and beat Madison Central.
Yeah.
Well, Madison Central came there and got beat, but you don't know what you're going to get from them. Right. I mean, they have the ability on any night to be there. That's going to be a great first-round matchup. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Bryan Station. And I say unfortunately because I think Catholic is a good team. Yeah. Not that Bryan Station is not. I mean, I think Bryan Station just has too much. Then you look at Frederick Douglass versus Franklin County. Franklin County is 12-20. I don't even know why we're even watching this game. I mean, I'm just being honest. My film's going to get filled up all night with highlights. It's going to be that type of a night. Then you look at Madison Central versus Tate's Creek, and people just immediately look past Tate's Creek. But Tate's Creek has kids on that team that have gone for 11, 12 threes in a game. Multiple kids, not just one kid.
Gotcha.
They shoot the long ball. They play really good defense. They're very, very seldom rushed and sped up. They get into the half court. They run their sets. They're a really disciplined team. Yep. It's going to be a tougher out than people think. I do have Madison Central winning, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think because of the way Tate's Creek has been playing, and they stay disciplined. That second round matchup between Bryan Station and Great Crossing is going to be a very good matchup. Great Crossing matches up with size with Brady Orm. You got T2 Cooper. I mean, he's a stat stuffer. You have Graham Swartz. He's a Swiss Army knife of a guy. Whatever you need from him, he's going to give it to you that night. Again, Tayshawn Adams has got to show up for Bryan Station in a big game in that second round, which I think he's more than capable of doing. He's just a very laid-back guy. Like, he gets rushed at nothing. I mean...
Probably the biggest thing for Station is that if they can get both of those guys to play the same night, it's lights out.
The key to Bryan Station, to me, is they have to get 8 points from 2 other players other than Adams and Owens.
Okay.
If you can get 16 points from 2 other players, like 8 from this guy, 8 from that guy, Bryan Station's going to be a problem.
Gotcha.
That's where it goes. When you look at this Madison Central versus Douglas in the second round, that could be your state championship game, caliber game. Yep. I don't know if it's going to be that way. You got to flip the coin here when you say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, but yet Douglas just did it by 30 to Bryan Station. But with that being said, I got to ride with my Broncos. I just think Frederick Douglass is not going to – they're not going to take it. They have more to lose than Madison Central, and what I mean by that is Madison Central's playing in Richmond. They're playing at EKU. They're the favorite. They're the ones that have the target on their back. How are they going to adjust to that? Frederick Douglass has just been playing really, really well. They finished the game against Bryan Station on a 20-2 run. And you're talking about Bryan Station that's been in the top 25 pretty much all year.
Yeah.
I mean, and to hold a team like that with a star like Amari Owens, I think the last 5 minutes of the game, it was a 20-2 run. Yeah. So I look at Frederick Douglass coming out of that region and going to Rupp-Arena.
First time this is the first time in 2 years that they've been able to play back at Eastern. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Madison Central got to play their district there, so they're used to the court again. You know, a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to playing on the college court, and it's not, to me, it's not so much the size of the court as much as the depth of field shooting to the backboard and the background of those arenas. It's a lot different when you're actually playing. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I reached out to Coach Garvin. See, I know coaches too. And I reached out to Coach Garvin and I said, hey, man, this was last week. I said, hey, you might want to make that phone call down to Richmond and see if you can't practice Sunday or Monday. Sometime Saturday, Sunday, sometime get your team on that court. It's different.
And it's got different, I mean, both ends are different there. You know, you got one end you're shooting into a wall, kind of like a high school gym, and the other is the open end zone. So, I mean, it is a unique experience, especially for high school kids.
Well, I don't know if you've been in the new EKU, but it's not the wall no more.
Oh,
I mean,
they
got, well, I don't know if they're using it in the 11th region, but it's like a hospitality or a upper echelon people.
Okay.
Skyboxes.
Yeah, I mean, you got people in there now, so it's different.
People like Adam Muncy in the VIP area.
My blood can't afford that. Come on.
I don't know if they're using that part of the facility, but it's different. It's not the wall, so it'll be very interesting having it back at EKU this year.
I mean, you've got Frederick Douglass. They played Great Crossing right down to the wire last year in the region. Nobody really did in the state tournament except Montgomery County for one half, and then they fell off. So, you know, that's a brutal region. It's one of the top two regions, maybe the top region. I watched Madison Central play Cuff Cath live this year. I was at that game, and Madison Central just made Cuff Cath look bad in that game. We talked about how good Cuff Cath was. They shut down Myrick. I mean, they just kind of face guarded him the whole game. That might be the key to maybe slowing down Cuff Cath. But Madison Central Feldhouse he's a Mr. Basketball candidate. Surratt, you know, he's one of the best players in the state as well. That should be a war. I'm taking Madison Central just because of the inside game. But I think it could go either way. And it's going to be hard to pick the state champion because they'll probably pick the 11th region champ. But I'm like, they might not even make it there. So.
Yeah, I think this is one of those years where the state champ is probably going to come from the 7th or 11th region. We see that from time to time. And it's been, 6 years before we've had either of those even in the finals. So it's been quite an interesting stretch. But, you know, you mentioned Amari Owens. He's probably my favorite player in the state to watch. He reminds me a little bit of Anthony Hickey, just in the way that there was no space he couldn't get into whenever he wanted to. So he's fascinating to watch. Again, as a team, I don't think they can quite make it through, and they've got a real tough draw with Lacey Catholic, and then Great Crossing leading into a tough matchup against either a top 2 or 3 team in the state probably. Douglass is actually who I had number 1 in the preseason poll. I think most people had St. X. I had Douglass. I think Lovell may have as well. And they haven't quite lived up to that this year. When they've played kind of those elite teams, they haven't got those wins, but they have the talent. There's no doubt. You know, they have the talent to go on a run and be a state champion, like you said. That very well could be the state champion coming out of that matchup between them and Madison Central.
I mean, with them in Madison Central, I mean, I'm picking Douglass, but it's going to be a barn burner. Yeah. I mean, if it goes to triple overtime, don't
flip the coin.
Yes, it's going to be a drag out war.
I'm not half against, like, I've been looking at this, like, I'm not against saying Lex Cath comes out of this region. I think there is a legit realm they do, you know, and I think Ben Warren has to play well, the sophomore. You know, you look at these big games they've won, he plays good. You know you got Max, you know you got Hank, you know, Everett and Ben have to play big. You know, they're sophomore starting. I think Ben Warren and Everett Stewart, you got to get big games out of them. Yeah, I really do. I like Lex Cath. I like Salzman in the postseason. I think he's got it. I think they're really talented. They're strong. They're physical. But once again, I keep going back to the fact I think those sophomores have to perform.
Well, not only that, you have to understand. You've had a couple days to practice and prepare for station. Get rest. Get your team healthy. You have to know that they're going to run a zone against station because the station hates a zone. I don't know why they don't practice against a zone for whatever reason whatsoever. Practice against a zone. Please. But for the love of God. But they could. I mean, they're good.
I think I could see it being Catholic, Madison Central, you know, again, you know, a little rematch, you know, maybe I'm leaning toward Madison Central. I really like it. But here's the thing. If we can get that version of Dakari Talbert out of Douglas for the whole tournament, Douglas could go win the whole thing. I'm not just talking the region. I'm talking the state tournament. When he plays like that, they are a different team, dude. I mean, Dakari Talbot has been an X factor for them a lot.
Two-sport athlete.
Phenomenal two-sport athlete. It's tough because I'm comfortable with picking Lex Cath to make it out of that top half, but I keep getting stuck between Douglas and Central. And I think we say it all the time. It's so hard to beat a good team 3 times. It feels like it's, I don't know what Feldhouse's plans are. You know, Coach Allen, I don't know. Is this his last ride? Maybe. So it kind of feels like it might have some sentimental value. But, like, this Madison Central team's good. They're really good. They do a little bit of everything. I was really impressed with them when they played St. X, and they lost St. X by 15. Like, there's just, every time I've seen them, they've showed me something that I really liked. You've talked about them playing at EKU, so they got a little advantage. They know it a little better, but I'm confident in picking Madison Central to win the region. But I think Lexington Catholic, you got to watch them because I think if you can just get good production out of those 2 sophomores, it's going to be hard to beat them.
Joseph just made me open up my FanDuel app. Get that $2 on Catholic. That's a good return. That's a good return. That's a good return.
What's Lee Corso say? Not so fast, my friend. And what I mean by that is you have to remember what we said earlier. When it comes to the 11th region tournament, they have 12th region officials who really let them play. So that's going to play a huge factor in the game against Lexington Catholic and Station, and also the Douglas and Madison Central game, because Fieldhouse he's a beast. I think he got 28 and 22 against Douglas or Station earlier this year. I mean, you got to pick your poison.
Yeah, I think he goes out and he shows that he doesn't need the free throw line. I think he does. I think he's a bulldozer. I think he's talented. I think he knows how to play around that contact. A lot of people give him a phrase, say he gets to the line, but I've seen him play 5 stars. You know, I watched him play with Anthony Thompson, Indiana Elite. He can do it. He can shoot the ball. He can play in the mid-range. I think this Madison Central team is going out and playing for a reason. You know, I mean, we've been talking about it all year. They can win it all. I think truly that, and I talk about him every day. I think I put a next up tweet out about him probably every day. Grayson Burton is a monster. I mean, 6'5", 2-guard, shoots the crap out of it. I mean, there's a reason Cincinnati's recruiting him right now. I mean, he is an X factor. A lot of people don't look as much, but dude, he talks. Like he talks some trash. He gets into it. He wants this moment. I think he steps up, and I think and obviously Richardson and Luke Asher, they have to be big. But
Luke Asher is definitely.
I'm telling you, man, Grayson Burton is going to have a tournament. He is going to have a tournament. I'm not a coach, but if I'm not letting that guy touch the ball. But it's not as easier said as done as that, you know, because then you got to worry about Feldhouse and Asher. But Grayson Burton, you know, watch Grayson Burton, man. This 28 class is loaded in this state. His name somehow still finds a way to kind of get swept under the rug, but Grayson Burton is a monster. I'm telling you.
Martin Media Elite.
Facts.
So we'll move on to the 12th region. 12th region got Somerset, Bull County,
West Jessamine, Somerset Christian School, Southwestern, Rockcastle County, Danville Christian, and East Jessamine. And there it is up on the board because I knew I didn't have things. So anybody that wants to start on the 12th region, by all means.
Only thing I know about the 12th region is West Jessamine. Let's go Murphy.
I mean, I feel like Danville Christian is your favorite, but then I've also seen Danville Christian drop some games, and I'm like, wow, like how did they lose this game? They got the best talent in the region. You know, Lee Catini is a monster. You know, 6'10", shoots at 40% from three. I think he was averaging 4.5 blocks a game. I mean, Lee Catini, he's the guy to watch. Rockcastle County has Walker Craig, who's been really good this year. I'll say this. I was seeing highlights from the game last night. I know he's a 4-star tight end. I know he's going to be able to do whatever he wants in that side. But Seneca Driver is a very, very talented basketball player. 100%. I mean, the athletic plays he was making at the rim last night and those clips I was seeing is insane. Like, genuinely insane. He would have a career in basketball. He really would. Like, and I'm talking possible Division I. I mean, he's really talented. West Jessamine has all the talent in the world, but it's like they've never really, like, I've never got to see West Jessamine and been impressed. And I hate to say that, but I've never seen West Jessamine and be like, they're a good team. I hate to say it, but they got the talent. I'm leaning Danville Christian again. You know, they can set in that zone and they can eat you alive, but then they can come down. Last year, it felt like they could zone you and they could kill you on defense. This year, it feels like they scored a little better. So I like what they got. I think they got the Ben Michael kid. He's solid. I like Lee Catini. I'm not as familiar on this region, but I would probably lean Danville Christian going back to Rupp again.
Seneca Driver reminds me of a shooting Dennis Rodman.
That's not a bad take at all, no.
I mean, I think this region is wide open.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I think part of that's just because there's not really a good team.
It hurts to say, but
I agree. Danville Christian on paper is probably the favorite. I'm actually leaning towards Somerset.
I like that.
I mean, Somerset beat them in the All-A, won the region All-A. I think lost to Walton Verona by 2 in the All-A. But you mentioned West Jessamine. If it came together, they could win it. When I saw them, I was not impressed either.
Never.
Danville Christian has the talent. Southwestern is
they're weird,
in the mix. If they play well, they can compete. I mean, Somerset Christian, who I had not thought a single thing about this year, goes and beats Wayne County, which to me is probably the biggest district upset, first round elimination of a team that Wayne County going in was probably my pick to win the region. And so, Rockcastle, like you mentioned, Walker Craig, I don't think East Jessamine's winning the thing.
Me neither.
Probably not Somerset Christian, but after that, if any of the other 6 won, I wouldn't really be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Somerset, Coach Ryan Young, I gave him our coach of the year for the region. I mean, Somerset was really good this year. They won some big games, but it's like they don't feel like a state tournament team, but somebody's got to make it. So I don't really know. East Jessamine has a really talented player, Tyson Duke. He's another one of those sophomores. Monster. Athletic freak. I don't think the sporting cast there is very strong, but I don't know. I mean, are we going to be confident to say that whoever makes this region doesn't really stand a chance first round at state? I mean, I feel like that's probably safe to say, but I don't know. It doesn't stand out. I don't think it's a bad region, but it's just nobody really jumps off and kind of stares at me.
Sounds good. We'll move into the 13th region here. A little bit more into Darryl's neck of the woods here a little bit. Bell County, Clay County, Pineville, Whitley County, North Laurel, Harlan, Corbin, and Knox Central. Do you want to talk about this region a little bit?
That's moving toward, but they're right there outside my.
Gotcha.
So all I heard him say is North Laurel and.
I was going to say
North Laurel,
and Bell County.
Bell County's right there too.
Yeah.
And Knox, I just seen them the other day. They played Hazard tough. They're a very athletic team. They're a team that can scare you.
Reese Davidson.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he played in the state tournament last year, I'm like, this is by far the best player in the state. Like, he is going to be Mr. Basketball without any question. This year, he hasn't, at least when I've seen him, he's not quite lived up to that. I mean, GRC completely shut him down. He did nothing against him. He struggled a little bit when I saw him in the king of the bluegrass. I mean, obviously, and I'm not saying he's not a good player, but just he did not. What I've seen did not live up to last year's state tournament, where I mean that was absolutely elite.
I'll definitely give you that, but I don't think that it's not that he's not playing that well. Honestly, I think he's playing not to get hurt for his career. When I watch him play, he plays a little timid.
Yep.
And I don't know if he's fully back from his injury, how he practices and how things go. But psychologically, some of these injuries are hurting some of these kids, and it takes a while for them to come back now. So
Reese has been like that from the start of the season. Seen him at the zip zone. Honestly, you know, everybody expected him and Noah Lewis to be the big primetime matchup in the zip zone. Both of them, you know, I mean, that was a lackluster game to say the least. So, you know, I mean, I'm with you. You know, I definitely, you know, everybody knows he's a stud, but, you know, you're not seeing what everybody knows he's capable of.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I didn't speak on the 10th region because I thought y'all did. Y'all did perfect. Like I just checked.
Now he gonna make me look bad.
I just checked my phone. I checked my phone. I see Austin, Tice, and Carter Coughlin have sent me text messages. So I'm like, oh, they're like, where's the Mocha? I'm leaning Montgomery County in the region. I am. I think the talent there's. I think Andrew Terry.
So you can be bought.
Yeah. Sorry, I know Coach Cook's seeing this. I think GRC's going to win the region. I genuinely think it's. I think it's a coin flip. I picked Montgomery to win the district because I thought, it's hard to beat the team 3 times, but they have so much film on each other now. It's like, I don't know. I'm not picking who's winning that. I got too many friends on each side. 13th region, Bell County's legit. Bell County's good, man. They got a freshman named Braxton Ferguson who, if you've not got to see him, he's a really special talent. Ethan Buell, Blake Burnett. Coach Sizemore is a really good coach. Bell County beat North Florida in the regular season. I think it went to overtime. Bell's really talented. And speaking on Reese, I still think he's got a very well argument for the best player in the state of Kentucky, and he's been weird this year. You got to think he actually played that state tournament run on the torn meniscus. He torn his meniscus in January. He was doing that on a torn meniscus. He didn't get surgery until April. He finally started hitting him. He couldn't do back-to-back in AAU, so he got surgery. I do think that North Laurel can win it because it's like, hey, if you talk about somebody, when you think about teams who's consistently made the state tournament for the last 5 years, North Laurel's one of them. They've been there. So it's hard to pick against them making it to that next run. It's going to be North or Bell. I think that's pretty consistent. But I think Coach Valentine does a good job of kind of showing some new stuff in region. You kind of see a better version out of them. They got a kid named Caden Allen who's a sophomore who's a really good player. They played Davis County up here in Lexington, and he made some big shots for them. I think a lot of it's going to be how does Corey Cunningham translate at that region level. He's the 6'8" sophomore beside Reese. You got to get big play out of them. If they can control the boards, they set in a little 2-3 zone at times, and they can kind of shut out Bell County because Bell likes to shoot it. They could come out of this region, but Bell County's really talented. I think they were getting some love in the rankings at times. Like I've seen them high as 15. I've seen people starting to give them some love. They smacked Adair County up at the All A, and then they dropped a few. I don't think they looked too great against Madison Central when they played, but they're a talented team. I'm going with North Laurel because, I mean, hey, I think this is when we do see Reese Davidson turn it up a notch. Like, this is when we see it. And Reese is such a weird player to judge because he's not your stereotypical 6'8" forward. He has impeccable guard skills. Like, that's one thing Liberty keys on. Like, this dude can be a 3 and handle the ball. I like Reese Davidson and North Laurel making it out. And, look, I mean, I don't know how I feel about 13th making a deep run in the state tournament. I don't know how far they go after this, but I think North Laurel's still a really talented team, and I mean GRC they just game planned it perfectly. I mean, but you're not going to be playing GRC every game, so North Laurel is my favorite to make it out. I think Reese Davidson puts some people back on notice and has a really, really big region tournament.
I think it's very unlikely, but the only team I could see that could possibly spoil the Bell North Laurel final is Clay County, who Bell has in the first round. I don't expect that to be an upset, but that's the only one that I can look at and say, there's a chance.
Yeah, got you. Well,
Darren, you want to take a commercial break? We'll finish off these last 3 regions real quick.
All right, we'll be right back.
If you're driving by and see that light, stop on in, get your colors right. It's more than gear, it's your story design. Red ink of vivid designs, every thread's a sign. Bats cracking, fans cheering, we're never slacking. Corner to corner, you know what we do. Representing hometowns all the way through. 4 counties, one voice, one goal. To lift the kids up and let the stories be told. From the bleachers to the field, it's all heart. We're more than a podcast, we're a community part. From the corner to the corner, we bring the heat. High school pride, we're repping every street. Sean West, Adam, Daron on the beat. Mount Sterling made, where the love runs deep.
Spring is here. Are you sure your roof is ready for the rain? Winter weather can leave behind hidden damage like loose shingles, cracked flashing, and clogged gutters, all of which can lead to costly leaks. At CRC Roofing and Renovations, we provide expert spring roof maintenance, leak prevention, and repairs to keep your home safe and dry. Don't wait until water damage ruins your home. Call CRC Roofing and Renovations today at 859-327-3913 or visit our website to schedule your free spring roof inspection. Protect your home with Central Kentucky's trusted roofing experts.
When you can't fit the car in the garage anymore, or the guest bedroom is overrun with junk, it's time for a Rumpke open-top dumpster. Rumpke offers open-top dumpsters in a variety of sizes and are often delivered the next day. You fill the container with unwanted material on your schedule, and Rumpke takes care of the rest. Don't wait to reclaim your space. Contact the Waste and Recycling experts at Rumpke today. Rumpke, Waste and Recycling, done right.
At Keystone Financial Group, we focus on what's important, you. As an independent firm, we have access to a wide range of financial services and objective research to help ensure your wealth is proactively managed. Call Joel Godby or John Morton today at Keystone Financial Group, 859-432-1084 for your local retirement and investment advice.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Keystone Financial Group, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Welcome back to the Front Corner Road through the regions.
You messed that all up again. Well, you got it right one time.
I think that was right. Wasn't that right?
I don't know.
Okay. So we're going to keep on going here. We are in the 14th region here.
Starting to get a little mountain territory.
So yeah, starting to get that way.
Where West stopped printing off brackets. He don't care about the mountains.
We got Perry County. I almost did big time Kentucky there. Perry County Central, Breathitt County, Powell County, Letcher County Central, Knox County Central, Hazard, Wolfe County, and Lee County. And we'll
help you out here.
All right.
This is one of them. I mean, there's about 4 teams that can win it. They're, obviously this region here is normally owned by Hazard and Perry, but this year, I still think Hazard is the team to beat in this region. But man, when you look at Powell County, they are young. Connor Morrison, I mean, he's a star. Picked up his first Division I offer last week. That team, a lot of people think Connor Morrison, they're like, that's a young team. That's not a young team. They got 3 seniors that start, and all 3 seniors are studs. Edwards, Tucker. I mean, you just go through it. They're well coached. They're the team that scares you. Knott County, I mean, Coach Honeycutt has done a tremendous job with that group. They don't score a lot, but they're built on defense. They're one of them teams, I think, up until last week, they was ranked 1 in the region, but I've thought Hazard's a team to beat all year long. Seth Cottle's the best player in the region. That they got one of the most slept-on kids in all Eastern Kentucky, Trace Kincaid. The kid's a stud. You talk, maybe the best point guard outside Elijah Neal in Eastern Kentucky. This is one of them. And Shannon Hoskins, I've never seen a coach like Coach Hoskins. When postseason comes, he's always peaking at the right time. It don't matter. You throw out a regular season record, it does not matter with him. He more times than not he'll find his way to Rupp Arena. Hazard, the thing that scares you, Casey Huff. Casey Huff, a tremendous coach, but he hasn't won at that level yet. He's got the team to do it, but can he do it? That's the. I think those are, and then outside chance. Letcher, they got a few studs on their team. They got the talent, athleticism to do it. But I think Hazard or Powell is your answer, and I wouldn't bet against Shannon Hoskins.
Can I ask you 2 questions about Hazard?
Yeah.
Number one, how did they not make it last year, and what kind of happened with that loss? To Breathitt County, was that kind of, I didn't expect that, and are they going to use that as fuel? And the second question is the transfer from I think it was Combs, Hazard to Perry Central. How's that gone over the dynamic between those 2 schools? I know it's always heated.
Yeah, that's the biggest rivalry in the 14th is the Hazard Perry Combs. Pound for pound, best shooter, bar none, in the region. It's not even close. The kid is an elite shooter. Breathitt, going back, Breathitt's kind of had Hazard's number. They beat them in the All-A this year, and that was the biggest upset of the year. Nobody's seen that coming. And Breathitt ended up taking and, making the All-A state tournament. But, Hazard last year, that was a shocker. Everybody, thought it was a done deal. Al Holland would be back at Rupp Arena, and Breathitt come in. Coach Honeycutt, was then there, now it's not. Coach Honeycutt, he's a great coach, and he had his team ready, and but I'm telling you, Hazard from day one in the 14th they're the team to beat, and they still are the team to beat. Powell County, to me. Powell County and Perry's the only 2 teams, and Perry, the reason I put them there is Shannon Hoskins, but Powell County, they're the scary team. They're the ones.
Connor Morganson is just a complete show. Yeah. He tough as nails kid.
He's a scorer.
He tough as nails, and again, sophomore, young kid, got a great future. Hated to see him leave GRC, but I bet you some people sitting up here are glad he left.
No comment.
At GRC, he was behind some studs, and Powell County, his time coming a little bit sooner. He would have probably had to wait another year before he got to shine. At Powell County, this year, he's took over the region, and it's one of them. That's a very scary team. If you've seen them play, they're athletic. They got playmakers at every position. But I still Hazard. I just I think this is their year.
I feel like the 14th is one of those that is a lot of times we see upsets. We see kind of like last year. We mentioned, but I think really any of the top 4 teams, you mentioned, Perry, Powell, Hazard, and Knott, I wouldn't be surprised at all for any of those to win. I think the favorite might have a 30% chance to win it. It's those 4 are going to beat up on each other. And the 14th region, so I'm going to talk a little trash first. They have not made a state semifinal in my lifetime. But I'm also going to say something. I love going to the 14th region tournament. The atmosphere there is a blast. I typically go when it's at Powell County. I think it's at Breathitt this year. It's just, the enthusiasm, the energy in that crowd is typically so much fun. I think the semifinals this year will be a lot of fun if you've got Perry and Powell playing, and then either Hazard or Knott playing against Wolf. Wolf's got, I think, the leading scorer in the state this year. It's a fun region tournament every year.
You hit the nail on the head. The favorite never wins the 14th. Never.
So we'll move on into the Big Daddy region, the 15th region. That's already started. And it's already started and gotten down to
regular region.
Regular
That's where it should be.
So in the 15th region, who's left? Betsy Lane beat Prestonsburg, and then they played Martin County, and who won that game?
Martin County.
Martin County won that game. Lawrence County, Paintsville has played. Paintsville, that's right. Paintsville upset them. So, and then at the top of that bracket, McGoffin County beat East Ridge, and then they lost to Pike County Central. So currently, let's see, and I'm missing a game here. Shelby County lost to Phelps. Shelby Valley.
You just got hated on in
Shelby Valley. Sorry. Shelby Valley lost to Phelps.
Wes, if you're struggling, it's literally right in front of you.
Well, I mean, it is, but I didn't want to hold it up like this because I would block my face out.
Hey, so Darryl, is that the game that Weddington went for 44 in?
That's the game Weddington went for 44. You know, I mean, this is one of them. This is super region. You know, listen, guys, I hated it before it come, but going a year through it, I promise you, it accomplishes what it's set out to do. You get your best teams, you know, at Appalachian Wireless Arena. You know, before you'd always get, you know, maybe had upset and you'd get a team that didn't have a chance in the first round. They'd get blown out. You know, you don't get that anymore. Every game's competitive with the super region, and that's the one plus on it I can tell you. You know, I mean, I'm a fan of it now. You know, it's one of them. You know, for you guys that may not understand it, the district champs go on. They seal their 4 spots in the Elite 8, and then everybody else drops back into a play-in tournament. Is basically what it is.
Right.
So you know, it's. Yeah, this one here, you know, I mean, the 15th, this is definitely, in my mind, the deepest. You know, I think you got probably 6 teams that I could see winning 3 games in a row here. You know, whenever you take and look, I mean, and even the other ones, you know, Phelps, Johnson Central, a lot of people have them pegged as the top team in the region right now. You know, Phelps, not a lot of their wins. A lot of people, you know, has trouble. Even though they got the biggest mismatch in the region, and it's not close. Tyler Wexton's state leading rebounder 2 years in a row, averaging pretty much 30 and 16 right now. You know, not many of their wins have come against teams with winning records, so that's what people's hesitation on it. But I can tell you, every coach in the 15th region is scared of this kid, and you know, I mean, they all know they got a chance to lose on that night. You know, Pike Central, Floyd Central. You know, Floyd Central. I think Matt Perry has done the best job in the 15th region this year. I think he's 22-5, I think, hasn't lost a home game. He's had 2 of his top 6 transfer out mid-season. Still found a way to get things done, but he's going against the Silver Fox, Al Holland, you know, 14 region titles. You know, I mean, so, yeah, I mean, Al's one that nobody wants to see. You know, so in that top part, I mean, I think Johnson Central, Floyd Central will move on. You know, moving down to the bottom half, you know, in my mind, you know, I think the best player in the state, Braxton Keesley. You know, everybody's got their own opinions, but, you know, they're going to play Belfry. And, you know, Brent Perry was Coach of the Year in the 15th. You know, they played in the All-A, and it came down. Keesley had to hit a buzzer beater, and, you know, may have got away with a walk before it, but either way, the kid played through it and he hit the shot. And but that one there, everybody, you know, thinks that Belfry, and if Belfry plays defense the way they did in the district championship, they got a chance to make a run here. You know, if not, you know, Martin County's hitting threes, nobody's beating them. Nobody. I mean, this is the best 3-point shooting team in Eastern Kentucky, and it's not close. You know, I think they average 82, 83 points a game, somewhere around there. Then on the bottom half, you got Kentucky versus Lovell. You got Landon Sloan versus Elijah Justice, and the 2 biggest independent schools in Eastern Kentucky. That one there is going to be a good one. Paintsville, you know, people that are 1 game above 500, the regular season record, but you know that's a little conceiving because Landon Sloan didn't run from anybody. Maybe the toughest schedule there was, and then beating Lawrence County. You know, they didn't just beat them; they beat them like a drum. You know, that's your defending 15th region champs. You know, so you know that one right there is going to be a very tough ball game. You know, I thought Paintsville was one of my favorites to win at preseason. But I mean, it's going to be tough. I think that bigger floor at the Appalachian Wireless Arena will play to Paintsville. That's the thing that scares me about Johnson Central. Johnson Central's got the best lineup by far. They got the new transfer from Ethan Cole from Paintsville. Kid's the most efficient player in the region. He don't miss shots. But you add another bigger piece, and then you got Kyle Rose down there. Can teams outrun them? And we seen what Paintsville done to Ashland. One of the very few teams that's run with Ashland, and they outrun them. That was the way they played with them. And I just think that bigger floor, Pikeville, I mean, they're scary because Elijah Justice is one of the best coaches in the region. They just don't have any size. That's what you worry about coming down. They're heavy into guard play, but with Kane, Grant Hall, Carter Parsons, I mean, they got a trio of guards there, and then Wes Buck coming over from Floyd Central. He's the only kind of size they got. He's just an athletic forward that plays above the rim. But this region here, if you're going to pick a region to go to and you want every game to be competitive, it's this region right here. Martin County, Johnson Central is what most people has in the finals. I don't know whether it'll come down to that or not because, like I said, Paintsville scares me. Then on that top part, Floyd Central, and Johnson Central, I mean, they got a chance of getting beat in the first round. I mean, I think a slim chance, but they do got a chance of getting beat in that first round. This is the region to watch. If you want good ball games, tune in to the 15th region.
I will co-sign. Braxton Keithley is just completely fun to watch. I love his energy, his attitude. His aura on the court is amazing. He loves to have fun. He's going to talk to you too if he's hitting. He gives it his all. Great young man.
He should be Mr. Basketball next year. I mean, there's not a harder worker in the state. I promise you that. There's nobody works harder than that kid. He lives in the gym.
I don't know about that one.
Listen, you can do it. There's nobody I promise you. There's nobody works harder.
There's a kid over there in Woodford County called Omari Joyner that is going to give him some run for his money. But I do like Braxton Keithley a whole lot, but
Telling you, Braxton Keithley's a different kid. He has no life outside basketball.
I mean, you just said he's in the mountains, so.
I'm not against either take for toughest player, but I'll say this: Braxton's going to get a lot of publicity, and Braxton deserves every bit of it. Now, he's a great kid. I try to get him on the podcast every week because I just love talking to him, and I love his parents. We've had a lot of good conversations, and I love when coaches ask him about Braxton because it's hard to go against him because he a lot of people give players in this state crap, and you got the haters, but it's hard to hate on Braxton because of, like you say, how hard he works. It's hard to hate on somebody who just wants it. Some kids are blessed with stuff, and people get jealous and they're like, well, I wish I was 7 foot, but Braxton just works for it, man. He wants it, but he also puts in more work than almost anybody in the state. I'm not going to say most, but I've seen why you say that. I've talked to Kevin. I've seen this guy go in the gym at 5 and be there till 10 at night. He works like that. But Bryson Dials is a kid that I wasn't very familiar with, and he's a flamethrower.
He's a sharpshooter.
He's really good. I'll say this, Johnson Central with Braden Shepard and Austin Sloan, are they the best guard tandem in the region? They're really talented. I like what they got. But I'm going to give some love to my guy at Belfry, Coach. He's done a really good job. And I try to check in with Coach Perry every once in a while. He does a really good job, and they're a talented team. I know they had Jackson last year, and I like to tune into them and see what they had going, but they're really talented this year, man. I'll just say this, you let Braxton Keithley get to Rupp Arena and get playing in front of everybody. You think he's good now. You just imagine, we've seen a lot of Eastern Kentucky kids walk into Rupp Arena and turn it up a notch. I think that's the same with whoever makes it out of this. I think the 15th region it's not getting a lot of love. A lot of people's not pushing for them to make a state run because obviously you play the 10th region. You're going to play GRC or Montgomery. But I don't know. They're Martin County, and I think Darryl said it perfectly. I've seen them. When they're hot and they're shooting it, have fun. Like, genuinely have fun, because the Maynard kid is your big guy who's going to rebound it. If Braxton's giving you 30 and then Bryson has 25, I mean, what do you even do? It's like...
They had 35 and 30 last night.
So I was going to say, I remember putting a tweet out one game, they both have 33. It's like, I think it's hard to pick against Martin County because they have the best player. You know, you feel like Braxton's going to step up and just dominate. You know, a 30-point triple-double for him is nothing new, but... I think the 15th's really fun. And I think it's a really good region. I mean, we talked the other day about best coaches. And, like, I was about to say it for the 14th last time, like, you got Hazard and Nottingham County Central, who we were just talking about. And then in this one at the top, you got Floyd and Pike County. So I like this region a lot. I really do. I try to tune in as much as possible, even though it's 4 hours away from me. But let Martin County get to the state tournament. And that 10th region, 15th region, round one game will be it'll be one you want to see, especially if you get Montez Gay versus Braxton Keithley, who is two of debatably the top 3 2027s in the state of Kentucky. You can debate they're the two best. I mean, that's going to be a game you'll really want to see. And I'm going to stick with Martin County making it out because I think that talent's going to prevail. And, I mean, we've talked about it. You know, Braxton Keithley being that worker he is, I mean, he is not going to let them go out early. He's not going to.
Remember this, the last 2 years of the Super Region, the 15th region was won by a team that lost in their first round of district. In the old format, that would have never happened because that team's done. You know, so, you know, I mean, it's a scary region. Everybody was scared of Lawrence County. Paintsville took care of that for everybody. But, you know, that Lawrence County, you know, C.J. Waller, Caden Harris, I mean, you hate to not see that team there. But this Paintsville team, I'm telling you, this is a very scary team. If there's a team that you could see knocking off Johnson Central, Martin County, you know, Paintsville's the one you want to circle. You know, I mean, they got the, you know, I mean, they got the history. You know, I mean, they're very well coached. They got Brock Woods, Anderson Loffer. I mean, they're a scary team. But, you know, as Joe mentioned, you know, listen, Braxton Keithley gets the rough arena. Katie bar the doors because this kid is a competitor. You know, he's got 8 Division I offers right now, several more knocking on the doors. You know, I mean, he deserves everything that he gets. But, you know, Tommy McKenzie over at Johnson Central, you know, a lot of people have him as the best coach in the region. You got Austin Sloan, Braden Shepard, best shooter in 15th region. You know, they're going to be tough to beat, but you just worry about Johnson Central on that big floor. That's where Martin County, with all them shooters, all them guards, worry whether they'll be able to take and just outrun Johnson Central.
And Joe, just so you don't break my heart before next week, can you put Montgomery County in that matchup in the first round of the state with the 15th?
Well, I mean,
I may get there next week with a heartbreak, but don't do it too soon. I mean,
he's already on thin ice, and then he talks about 27. Yeah. Don't mention Tice Jarvis.
Hey, he might not have any words to say tonight. Sounds like he might not have any words to say tonight.
Don't worry, he's gonna get a text from Tice real. Soon as this podcast is over, Tice is calling him.
I mean, the Montez Gay versus Keithley would be a great matchup, but, you know, for me personally, I mean.
Hey, Next Up Recruits player rankings are available on the website. You can go see them. And then I've had plenty of parents hit me up already. This won't be nothing.
When we get done, Joe's going to go, I might just drive home.
Yeah. He's just going to turn the phone I'm starting to think that might be the move for me.
Yeah, and I do, before we move on from the 15th, listen, for any of y'all that's not seen Chris Spriggs, this kid, you know, Brady Johnson, I told Joe at that camp, I said, this kid will be Region Player of the Year. You know, he went in to the season as the top quarterback in the mountains. Then, you know, he had 9 broken bones in 2 years to start his career. He was injured, riddled. Okay, well, he quit football after the Ironton game this year. He just gave it up. He said he's going to focus on basketball. Well, he became the 15th Region Player of the Year, and then yesterday going against Tyler Wigton. If y'all look it up, Matt Taylor posted his coach. Kid played with a broken hand that was the size of a baseball glove, and yes, it still, you know, went out and gave a valiant effort. But Chris Spriggs, if there's any kid, him and Caden Harris, they was the other two that deserved Region Player of the Year. Spriggs hit multiple game winners this year. He just hit one the other night against Lawrence County in the district championship. If you ain't seen that shot, go back and watch it. This kid is a stud, Chris Spriggs, guys. Tune into that kid every time he plays because he's a show in himself.
When I look at the 15th region, I kind of like what Joseph said. Like, I think it falls under the radar a little bit in that when I first saw the draw come out, I'm like, oh, 10th got a great draw. Like, the 10th just pencil them into the next round. Then you see, Pikeville's had some nice wins over top 16th region teams. We've seen Martin County. I mean, they've had a great showing. I think they went down to the Arby's Classic or whatever that's called now, and were competitive down there. And Johnson Central, all three of those have kind of waffled in and out of maybe the top 25, kind of low rankings there. So, you're going to get a pretty solid team out of that. I think Johnson Central just got such a good draw. I'm picking them just based on their opposite, what I think are probably the next four best teams with, Belfry, of course, Martin County and Pikeville and Paintsville, I think are all on the opposite side of that bracket. So Johnson Central, like you said, they could lose before that, but they have to be thrilled with the way that bracket broke for them.
If their big man stays out of foul trouble, they're hard to beat. Kyle Rose, he's known for getting in foul trouble, but if he can stay out of foul trouble, and then you got Braden Shepard, Sloan, and now Ethan Cole there, and then the kid nobody talks about is the coach's son, Mason McKenzie. Hey, write that down, Mason McKenzie. This kid, he's a rising point guard. If they all stay on the floor, but you just worry because last year the MO for Paintsville, everybody said we can outrun Paintsville because you had Woods and Cole on the same team. Now you got Cole and Rose. That's what you worry about, and that's where teams are going to try to get Johnson Central. They're going to try to get them in a horse race, and but Johnson Central, I mean, if they can control the pace, then they're probably going to win the game.
So we'll finish things off with the 16th region here. 16th region, we've got Boyd County, Elliott County, Russell, Fleming County, Morgan County, Raceland, Round County, and Ashland Blazer. And we followed them a little bit, Adam, and I think that this is probably, but there's a lot of people that just say this is probably a two-horse race, especially with Ashland and Boyd being on opposite side of the race, but don't count out Russell. Because we've seen Russell as Montgomery County folks this year, and they laid it to us up there. But I would have to say that's probably the three teams that everybody's looking at out of the 16th.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob Spurlock, the all-time leading scorer in the 16th region. You talk about Braxton Keithley letting him get corrupt. Let Jacob Spurlock get corrupt, and then let's see what happens. And their point guard, the Payne kid, one of the most underrated kids that nobody really talks about.
Coming from St. Vincent, St. Mary.
Yeah, you've got Gunnar Woods, you've got Jacob Spurlock, and then you've got that kid.
Caleb Rimmer.
Yeah, that's a tough team, and this might be the year they get Ashland.
Yeah, I know.
Malachi Payne.
Yeah, Malachi Payne. He's tough.
I know Lovell talked about Reese Davidson, but listen, it's going to be a travesty if Jake Spurlock don't get Mr. Basketball. This kid has broke every record you could think of. You go and look, the one thing that I thought that would hold him back is if he couldn't beat Ashland. And, I always call it the curse of Jason Mays. I didn't think he'd ever beat him. And then they beat him last week in district. And, but Jacob Spurlock, one of the most prolific scorers, best scorer I've seen since Cameron Justice come out of the mountains. And then Braxton Keithley coming right after him. But over 3,000 career points. This kid can flat fill it up. But, I know a lot of people don't even realize yet Caleb Rimmer is on that team. Transferred, late in the year. He joined the team. This kid, big-time shot blocker. If you remember, him and Elijah Neal was set to be the next duo coming up at Russell. And then they both transferred out and went to Rivals. But, Ashland's the team to beat. This team, if you've not seen Elijah Owens, by far the best athlete in any of them three regions that we cover. Elijah Neal, I think, the best point guard. Then you got Justin Clark, Justin Hughes. Coach Bonner does a tremendous job. And then, you got the best shooter in the 14th region, Drew Smith, outside Spurlock. So it's just one of them things. It's a two-horse race, and it's going to come down to what it always does, Ashland or Boyd. And, either one of these teams, I think, can win a game at Rupp.
I think it comes down to the last possession like it usually does between those two. It is a good draw for Ashland, decent draw for them. They avoid Russell and, of course, Boyd because they're in the same district. But I just can't pick against Ashland because they've won 7 in a row, and it's like it's almost like J-Town. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep picking until they don't do it. But it would just be like sick for Boyd if they just come close again and can't make it. So I think it's good to get new teams in there every now and then. It's just exciting for different communities, but I'm still going to pick Ashland.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go Boyd. I mean, like you mentioned, Spurlock is just, you watch him and you're like, if he touches the ball, you just assume he's scoring. Which not many play, regardless of how he's defended. Like if he gets the ball, he's going to score. But yeah, Payne. I think I saw set the Boyd County assist record. I mean, fascinating watching him at the Lexington Catholic tournament. Just gets to his spot, finds teammates. He was just electric. Defends well too. I mean, he puts a lot of pressure on opposing point guards. Is that the most intense game in the state? I mean, that's got to be right up there, if not more than maybe more than Montgomery County, Clark County, with some of the feelings going into to the battles of who's involved there.
I really like Spurlock. To me, I might have said Reese Davidson's name, but Spurlock. I think it was his Mr. Basketball to lose this season. The kid, like you said before, has done everything he's been asked and more, year after year after year. He plays both sides of the ball, scores at all 3 levels. Just a great competitive kid. So it'd be great to see him at Rupp. I'd go with Boyd County.
Yeah, that Malachi Payne makes no bad plays, and this kid, for a smaller guard, I mean, you let him get a step on you, he's gonna bring the rim down. He's fun to watch. This Boyd County team, they're the old man Ashland, multiple high flyers. I mean, if you get either one of them at Rupp, go ahead and buy a ticket because you're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah, I'll say this: me and Lovell's been pretty high on Russell throughout the whole year, and it's like they don't even, in a way, have a chance. Like you're looking at these two. And here's the thing: I think honestly, like the Ashland dominance has been so prominent, it's like hard to pick against them. But I'll say this: if they don't make it this year, it's theirs for the next 3. I mean, they're so talented. And like Elijah Owens is a freshman, Hughes a 28, Neal's a 27. It's like, yes, you don't win it this year. I mean, you're going to have some really, really bright years. I don't know. Coach Bonner is just, it's so hard to pick against him, but it would feel really weird to say we never got to see Spurlock at Rupp. And I mean, you've seen the game. I mean, if Spurlock doesn't get hurt in that game last year in the region championship, did they win? I think there's a heavy debate. They do. They looked really good. They were winning at the time. You just had to go against Xander Carter and that Ashland team, and it's like Xander Carter is one of the better players to ever come through Kentucky. Yeah. I mean, it's just the straight up truth. So it would hurt to see Spurlock never play. But I'll tell you this: you let Caleb Rimmer get a highlight dunk in the second half, get them some energy, they're going to win the game. Like they play, he's a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. He does a little bit of everything, but like he's so impactful, man. But I think you've hit on it a little bit too. Elijah Neal has just so much control over a basketball game. And like we talked about Malachi Payne, and Coach Briggs at Georgetown just offered Malachi Payne. I think that's a no-brainer for him. But like Elijah Neal he's a really, really talented kid, man. Like I've got to see him plenty of times. Very blessed to see him. He's super talented, but I just want to see, all those guys. I feel like at Ashland got to have good games. Like they all got to get 10. They all got to do their thing. Not one guy can go have 30 and then somebody else not perform. Like I'm interested to see how it goes. I think we would be robbed out of seeing this year's Boyd County team at the state tournament just because they're so entertaining and fun to watch. But it really is hard to pick against Ashland, but I think I'm going to roll with Boyd. It's Jacob Spurlock. We could very well see Spurlock be Mr. Basketball playing there at Rupp. That carries some weight. And, I mean, we've seen Spurlock play at the biggest stages. I mean, he loves it. So imagine him at Rupp Arena. I think we've said it about Braxton. So I'm going to lean Boyd. Jacob Spurlock can't finish his career without ever playing at Rupp Arena. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. And I think they know that. I think his teammates know that. It's going to be hard to see them not make it.
Yeah, I take Ashland for the fact that, just watched them there a couple of weeks ago play the top 4A team in West Virginia, Morgantown, and took them to a double overtime thriller. Elijah Neal is that guy. He's Jason Williams-esque with his passing. If you've not seen this kid, I promise you there's not a better passer in the state.
And if you're the 16th region, I mean, say you're Boyd and you win it, you draw the first region, you've already beat McCracken on the season. So if you're Boyd, you know, you feel a little comfortable. Hey, we get there, we win a game, and then you never know what happens. So, but I like Boyd. I do.
Yeah, it's a coin flip.
Yeah, I mean, Ashland, I watched them play GRC, and they played right with GRC for a half with Neal out, and I think Smith was out too.
Yep.
I mean, so you can see they have depth. They've got a lot of guys who aren't in the starting lineup who were playing very competitively for half of that game. So, I mean, that's a fun one to watch.
Well, guys, we've gone on for almost 2.5 hours, and it has been unbelievable talk about the boys basketball tournament.
And we don't even know if Joe's got a place to sleep right now. We're starting to get worried about it.
Listen, hey, before you guys get too far gone, hey man, I appreciate each and every one of you, everything you guys do for the state of Kentucky basketball, high school basketball is greatly appreciated from Martin Media, Next Up Recruits. We appreciate you.
I'll say something real quick too. You know, I started doing this in 2024 when I was 16, and you know, a lot of you guys here, sitting here, I watched your content. I looked at y'all guys for some, I guess I'd say advice, but like some inspiration. You know, how can I do original content? What are these guys doing? Stuff like that. So it's been an honor to sit here with y'all today and talk basketball. You know, I don't know how much longer I'll be doing it. You know, going off to college soon, but you guys have been big. You know, I think we're blessed with one of the best states in the country for talent. You know, Kentucky always still goes under the radar somehow, and I think all of us being able to give these kids a platform is pretty big, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all in this together. You know, we're trying to grow our business while these kids are trying to go on and play at the college level. So, but I really appreciate you guys having us on today.
Not a problem. So I just want to kind of go down through here again real quick. We've got Clark and Troy Howell. They do the KSR Top 25.
He does too.
No, direct all your hate to those two.
I wouldn't do that to I wouldn't do that.
Nobody ever complains about their team being ranked too low.
No.
Nobody ever.
Everybody's always
Coaches
satisfied.
want their teams ranked too low, so most coaches just tell me rank them low.
I wasn't leaving you out because I figured you would want Martin Media pushed just that much more. Look up Lovell Martin Media on all the socials, and listen, if you need a highlight done,
Lovell's the man.
Lovell's the man. So look him up. Daryl with D&D Sports Network. I tell you what, right now they do a phenomenal job. You all will run the 15th region tournament, correct? 15th. Is that the only one?
In Kentucky, we'll be doing West Virginia region tournaments as well.
Okay.
Right, they will.
Yeah. and listen, Joe over here, I'm telling you, I think we all can say it at the table. Wouldn't surprise me one day to see Joe on ESPN. You know,
100%.
This kid's a rising star in our industry.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. Let's not skip Mr. Ivan Ralls here, our local legend with the WMST, carrying Dan Manley on the weekly. Is that correct?
It's getting more arduous every year. It seems like.
I think that $5 just went up. You got to pay
exactly. We'll be doing all the boys and
right.
the girls state tournament. So it's we get our own original broadcast as a local radio station, whether Montgomery County is in it or not. We cover all the boys and girls games.
Nice.
So
Nice.
And you'll be doing the 10th region as well, right?
Yeah, we're doing 10th region, and hopefully my beloved Lady Indians tomorrow can pull off a big
Listen,
tomorrow.
we wanted to do the girls too. We got long with this, and I didn't want to just go through 4 or 5 teams,
Title
6 or 7
IX.
teams, and just short it. So we will.
Title IX.
Next week, me and Adam will put some things together, and hopefully you're here.
Well, I ain't know.
And we'll kind of go through the Sweet 16 draw and go and kind of give you an insight of what's going to go on there. And let's not
Central and Ashland. That's what you need to know about my region. Those would be the 3. There'll be the 3 there.
And let's not forget Joe down here again. Watch the Joe Show when?
Every Sunday night.
Every Sunday night on Twitter, correct?
Yes, sir. Twitter.
On
Facebook.
X. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then you with Next Up Recruits, and guys, look him up because he shares so much on social media. You want to know something about a kid? Joe's your guy.
The Mel Kiper of Kentucky High School
Hey,
basketball.
Your price just went up.
We're having him come with his big board next time.
So for me, for Adam, Darren Stevens, listen, that was the first annual From Corner to Corner Road Through the Regions. Guys, we appreciate it very much for you all coming, staying this long, but I think it was an awesome show. Go out and watch. This will be up for as long as we can get it up, and we will be here next week with Menifee County Softball and Athletic Director Paul Alford, and he wants to talk about softball. He might want to talk about a few transfer things too. He said he has some thoughts too, so maybe we can get a few things out of him too.
I mean, we just went 2.5 hours. We didn't even mention transfers. Now everybody sitting here mentioned a team that had a lot of transfers.
Yep, that's right. They're all transfers.
Except for Douglas, we didn't have a lot of transfers. And for next year, we need a hospitality room.
Absolutely, I agree.
I will have a spread next year.
I mean, we got Lee's right here. We've got Taco Bell over here.
We're staring at a box of Cosmic Brownies right there.
So guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
The From Corner to Corner podcast wants to send a huge thank you to all our amazing sponsors who help keep this show rolling each week. Your support lets us keep covering local sports, sharing stories, and building community together. We truly couldn't do it without you. Thank you for believing in us, and let's keep making an impact together.
The Moco Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.